Dr. Ramsubhay sir, you see, why don't you post your brochure or invitation, whatever it is, you see on the screen, so that you see people, the 150 people who joined will be able to look at
Yes, sir. We do it, sir. Thank you, sir. We do it, sir.
Right. Sudhakar sir is not available.
He is, sir. He is available. He is here. He is from Bangalore. He is operating from Bangalore, sir.
Okay, right.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm present, sir. Present, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
Approach it. Approach it. Sir, we shall start the program in another 3 to 4 minutes, sir. We are waiting for our principal and secretary.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yes, please, sir.
I think see, Meena Kumari madam has already joined, the principal of APCM.
Yes, sir. We are waiting for our principal and the secretary, sir.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, sir. Please.
Good afternoon, sir. I have joined, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I was making a reference to you, ma'am. I was making a reference to you.
Thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity. This
No.
is
I should say that. I should say those words.
organizing in collaboration with the cluster group.
Yeah. As the advisor of the cluster, we wish you the best. You have been doing wonderfully well, and hope in the next cycle you'll be able to score better. And NEP 2020 perhaps will also help your so-called self-financed people to get some kind of support from the government. I hope Dr. Lily will take up the cause of those self-financed recruitees, asking your government and the central government to finance them, when the GER is going to be extended to 50%. Let us see what NEP 2020 will be able to do for the staff, teachers also, not just for the cause of education. Now it is 200, a good number. It's increasing slowly.
Sir, our principal, sir, has joined, sir.
Oh,
Hello,
wonderful.
sir. Dr. Manohar is here, our principal.
Good afternoon, Dr. Manohar.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you? How are you, sir?
Fine, good.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Yeah,
Good afternoon,
Krishna,
sir.
sir. Meena Kumari madam
good
is,
afternoon.
yeah, wish you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, Manohar, sir, principal of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College is also available here. She's on the screen. She's
madam.
greeting you, sir.
Madam, how are you, madam?
I'm fine, sir.
Dr.
Very
N.
happy,
Meena
sir.
Kumari, madam. Madam.
Happy to join you, sir.
Yes. Now we have a chance to meet together regarding only because of this IQAC.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me, ma'am? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I am a student of VOC College, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
I did my UG and PG in VOC College.
Oh, then we are doubly happy, sir.
During 1979 to 84.
Okay, sir.
I am the first batch of M.Com in VOC.
Oh, okay.
So alumni of VOC.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Last week, your IQAC coordinator, Lily Golda came to our campus, and madam, last week,
Yes, yes, sir.
last week your college IQAC coordinator director Lily Golda came to our campus and gave a lecture to our final year student
Okay, sir.
regarding skill development.
Okay.
Thank you.
How far is Thoothukudi from Madurai?
Nearly 135 kilometers, I think.
My goodness, that is a 2.5 hour drive. 2 hour or 2.5 hour drive.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Sir, Secretary Sir has come, I think, sir.
Yeah.
2 to 2.5 hours by car.
Sir, can you hear us, sir? Secretary Sir, can you hear us, sir? It's connecting to this audio.
Good evening, sir.
So audio is not yet connected. He's trying to connect this audio. No, principal sir, come. Yes, sir. I think that whose audio is connected. Principal sir, shall we start?
Yes.
Sankar sir?
Secretary Professor Karnatak.
Yes, sir. Secretary sir, shall we start the program?
I think he is muted.
Yes, sir. He is traveling, sir.
He's trying to say something. Yeah, he's unmuted now.
Can you start, sir? Can you start, sir?
Okay, you can start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shall we?
Yes, Professor. We are good to go.
Thank you. Good afternoon to learned participants. And we are extremely happy to see you all once again on screen after
Both
a
understand.
gap of 1 year. We were a little concerned about conducting this program through online as colleges have started working across the nation. Yet, you have given us overwhelming responses with 1,700 registrations from states like Telangana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Jammu and Kashmir, Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal, and Puducherry, Bidar, Odisha, Assam, Uttar Pradesh, of course, from Tamil Nadu. And thank you for the trust that you have in us. The institution is very proud to organize this program in association with the A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, Thoothukudi and IQAC Cluster, India. On behalf of the organizing committee, I personally thank the the president of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College, the most respected and beloved president, APCV, Mr. Chokkalingam sir, and the president and other office bearers of IQAC Cluster India. And dear participants, we have invited eminent resource persons across the country to discuss the key issues in terms of accreditation in the post-pandemic scenario. See, on behalf of both the institutions, I request all the registered participants to stay tuned to all the 7 days. It is an instruction, it is a gentle reminder from the organizing committee that please stay tuned to all the 7 days, so that only if you attend the 7 days program, that your certificate would be generated. And thank you so much for your enthusiastic participants. And with these few notes, let us start the inaugural program. My dear friends, I'm extremely happy to introduce to you the organizing secretary. That means one of the organizing secretaries of this 7-day faculty development program, Ms. Vimala. She is an assistant professor of English and also an additional coordinator of IQAC of our college. I appreciate her for her tireless work. Hopefully, she would have spent some sleepless nights as this program was planned in a short span of time. And always there is a saying, hard work would always pay rich dividends. And this hard work paid rich dividends with the 1,700 plus registrations. And this could be possible because of her tireless work, an individual tireless work, at the same time supported by the team of both the colleges, exclusively contributed by IQAC Cluster India also. And may I have the pleasure of inviting the organizing secretary of this event to welcome, to deliver the welcome address. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for introducing me. My warm greetings to all. We, the organizing team, is so excited to have you all here for a 7-day online faculty development program on enhancing quality by unearthing innovative practices, jointly organized by Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, Madurai, and the A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, Thoothukudi, in collaboration with IQAC Cluster. I begin my welcome speech with a word of tribute and gratitude to the Almighty, as it is He who has been the driving force behind our team, giving us the spirit of motivation and encouragement for the grand and successful launch of this 7-day FDP with 1,700 participants across the country. I'm very much humbled to welcome our beloved Secretary, Sir, Mr. M. Vijayaraghavan, a source of inspiration for all of us, for whom we dedicate the success of this program. I welcome you, sir. Next, I'm very much pleased to welcome the APCV Chokkalingam, President of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, and Srimati Subbulakshmi, Secretary of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women. I welcome you, sir and ma'am. I also record my gratitude to sir and madam for immediately giving us consent for this joint venture. Next, I take pride in welcoming our beloved principal, Dr. B. Manoharan, As Joyce May rightly quoted, teachers can change lives with just the right mixture of shock and challenge. Our principles changes our course of path always to a way forward to success with the right mixture of positivity and motivation. I welcome you, sir. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. N. Meena Kumari, principal of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, who has consistently supported the organizing team of this program. I welcome you, ma'am. Next, on behalf of the team, teaching fraternity and participants, I'm very much delighted to introduce you the vibrant forum that is IQAC Cluster. I use the term vibrant forum because the clusterates are doing a magnanimous service by rendering their helping hands to the institutions across the country throughout the year to serve, to score higher grade with good CGPA score in NAC accreditation for their, by their valuable suggestions and innovative ideas. Today's moderator, Dr. Lily Golda, will brief about the IQAC cluster and cluster rates, but yet I take this opportunity with pleasure in welcoming the office bearers. Let me have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Piyush Pahade, who is the founder president of IQAC cluster, who is also the associate professor of zoology of Desai College, which is located in Pune. Next, I take the pleasure in inviting Professor Bharat Kangude, who is the Joint Secretary of IQAC Cluster and Head Department of Physics of PDA's College Anandarao Power College, Pune. Next, I invite and welcome Dr. S. Sankar, who is the advisor of IQAC Cluster and retired principal of Akineni Nageshwara Rao College, which is located in Andhra Pradesh. And I welcome all the clusterates. Without them, the FDP wouldn't have taken its shape as we witnessed today with 1,700 participants. I welcome you all. I render my special welcome to the conveners of the FDP, Dr. A. Ramasubaya, who is the IQAC coordinator and associate professor of English in Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, who has instrumentalized all the resources and who has also shouldered all the responsibilities for the success of the launch of this program. I welcome you, sir. And Dr. Lily Golda, who is the IQAC coordinator and assistant professor of English of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College, who is also the associate member of IQAC Cluster. She gave us enthusiastic ideas and showed us the novel path which is less traveled for the success of this program. I welcome you, ma'am. Next, I'm happy to invite my co-organizer, Dr. D. Radha, Assistant Professor of Maths of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College, who is working with us or worked with us together for the grand takeoff of this program, of today's program. I welcome you, ma'am. My warm welcome to the functional heads of the department, IQAC team and IQAC members, and teaching fraternity of both Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College and A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College. Last but not least, I extend a warm welcome on my own behalf and on behalf of the organizing team to the participants who are the real patrons of this show and today's FDP. Certainly, you are the real motivation to us to say the speakers became so enthusiastic to meet the participants and seeing the rise in the participants' numbers. The idea of organizing the FTP like this was mooted by our convener, Dr. Ramasubaya, and Sir and the Goldaka had discussed, and they have planned and it was executed. The invitation and registration form was shared, and within a day we had 900 participants, and the next day it reached 2,300 and 1,500. Really, your enthusiasm is our motivation. Thank you for the overwhelming responses. Once again, I welcome you all and thank you for the opportunity given to me to welcome the gathering. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Organizing Secretary, Ms. Vimala. And dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm immensely delighted to introduce to you our most beloved and respected principal, Dr. D. Manoharan. When I took him the nurtured idea of organizing online FDP, immediately granted me permission to conduct the event. There are a few more programs in the pipeline, which are going to be conducted before 30th of April, and for which he not only gave permission, but also extended financial assistance to organize all the programs before 30th of April 2022. I would like to briefly say in 1 or 2 words, our principle is critical, supportive, but at the same time is the guiding spirit of not only the internal quality assurance cell of our college, but to every individual of this institution. I'm delighted. I'm extremely happy now to introduce our beloved principal to all the learned participants here. And I take this opportunity to invite our distinguished principal to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Ramesh, is it audible to you?
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir.
Right. Good evening to all. The internal quality assurance cell of our college, Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, and A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women Thoothukudi jointly organized a 7-day online faculty development program on enhancing quality by unearthing innovative practices, EQIP 2022, in collaboration with the IQAC Cluster, India. Really, it's a very big effort and very nice effort for organizing this wonderful virtual mode program after a year long back. So for this, first of all, as a principal of this institution, I would like to register my gratitude, and I would like to extend my congratulations and thanks to our most respected secretary of our college, Through M. Vijayaravan, who is always encouraging us and supporting us for conducting programs like this. So he is a motivating person, and he is available in the campus 365 days and encouraging us for doing these type of activities and ask us to convene program like this. For that, once again, I would like to register my gratitude to our most respected secretary, Mr. M. Vijayaravan, sir. Next, I would like to thank the most respected president of a great A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, Thoothukudi, through A.P.C. V. Sokkalingam, sir. Really, I'm very happy, sir. Now, I think you are not able to participate at present. Anyhow, on behalf of our college, I convey my gratitude to you, sir, for giving acceptance for doing this. And Amma Tirumadi C. Subbulakshmi, Secretary of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, and an eminent principal of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, Dr. N. Meena Kumari ma'am, for permitting the IQAC of their college for jointly organizing this 7-day virtual mode program. And also, I would like to appreciate conveners of both Dr. A. Ramasubaya, Assistant Professor of English and IQAC Coordinator of our own college, and Dr. T. Lily Golda, Madam, IQAC Coordinator, A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, for their enthusiastic and very eager step for organizing this program as in the capacity of organizing secretary. I appreciate both of you, Dr. Ramasubaya and Dr. Lily Golda, madam. The organizing secretaries, Dr. Vimala, additional IQAC coordinator of our college, and Dr. D. Radha, IQAC member of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, for taking efforts for organizing this 7-day online FDP program. Really, it's a very nice program. In this FDP, Faculty Development Program, 7 eminent speakers are invited by the IQAC of MTNC, Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, and the A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College to discuss or to talk about all the 7 criteria. Accordingly, today, Dr. S. Sankar, who is going to deliver future of higher education institution in the light of NEP. I think it's really a firing area because of NEP. And for this program, both IQAC team has invited 7 very good speakers from all over India. That is, they are all in the member of IQAC cluster in India. So I am very happy to see this occasion, and the response is also very well. At present, 413 participants are participating in this program. So with these few words, again, I ask you to both IQAC coordinator, Dr. A. Ramasubaya and Dr. D. Dilli Goldam, ma'am. You may try to organize this type of program in future also. And our college and your A.P.C college is also a very notable college in southern region. So we will continue this journey, and we will do our level best for development of both our college and your college. So with these few words, I appreciate all the participants all over India, even all over the world, because already in Ramasubaya already said some of the participants also participating this program from abroad also, including all over India. So once again, I wish this program for getting good success. Thank you, one and all.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you for your presidential address. As you rightly said, there is a candidate from Mexican University.
Yeah.
There is a candidate who is attending this NEP.
Fine.
Yes, sir. Almost teachers are representing from each state of the country. And we are extremely happy for their, as you rightly said, for their enthusiastic participation. And once again, on behalf of the institution, and I thank all the participants for their overwhelming responses. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the part of the inaugural, it's my great honor and privilege to introduce to you our beloved and respected Secretary, Mr. M. Vijayaraghavan. He is not able to join us. He is not able to be with us in the campus, but he is traveling to the neighboring city. But he is with us. Though he is traveling to the neighboring city, whose soul and heart is with the program. It is very unfortunate that he is not able to sit in the campus. So whenever there is a program conducted by IQAC or any discipline in the campus, he used to sit like a student, like an academician. He used to sit and watch the entire event. Either it is offline, it is online. But unfortunately, he is not able to sit in the campus and listen to the lectures delivered by the speaker today. Yet, I would like to say a few words that as the principals have said, is such a visionary person. And the institution is found. The institution, the Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, is found in the educational map of India. And this institution, in the last 2 decades, is growing leaps and bounds. It is all because of his sacrifice. It is all because of his tireless work. All it is because of his commitment and devotion, and such a way he dedicates himself for the growth of this institution. And probably you would have seen, you would have felt by this time that even though he is traveling to the neighboring city, and he wanted to know what is going on in the program, how many participants are participating in the program, how many participants from different states, all details he wanted to know. So though he is traveling, and he put his soul and heart with the program. So we are very proud, and it's a great honor and privilege to the institution to have such a committed secretary now to this institution. So with these few words, it's my honor and privilege to invite our beloved and respected Secretary Sir to deliver, to felicitate the gatherings.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. Dear land delegates across the country, good afternoon to all of you. Indeed, it is a great pleasure and honor to felicitate this August gathering. As the secretary of this institution, I am extremely happy to know that 1,700 teachers have registered to this 7-day faculty development program organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of our college in association with the A.P.C, Mahalaxmi College, Thoothukudi and IQAC Cluster, India. When the IQAC coordinator, our college, approached me with an idea of organizing this event in association with A.P.C Mahalaxmi Women's College, I immediately accepted the collaboration. The reason behind is my association with through A.P.C. Sokalingam sir for more than a decades. He is such an honest person, a man with rich conviction, inherited from his parents. He is an educationist and a visionary man. In fact, it is a great honor to our institution to conduct a program like this in collaboration with his institution. I personally know him, how he struggles to run number of institutions. In fact, the entire family is committed to the cause of education. If I am right, or it is not an exaggeration, he spends more than 10 lakhs from his pockets every month. He is such a generous person, a philanthropist, never received not even a single prize from teachers for the permanent appointment. So it is not surprising to see his institution found in NRF and other ranking of the country. On behalf of the institution, I thank him for accepting our invitation to collaborate this event on behalf of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of both institutions. I appreciate the efforts of Dr. Ramasubaya and Lily Golda for their effort in organizing this sort of webinar. I also thank Mrs. Sokalingam for her extreme presence. The IQAC coordinator told that she associated this program with the IQAC Cluster India. It is a huge organization in the country. I thank its president and the other office bearers for coming forward to accept our invitation. I appreciate the principals of both the institutions for the initiative to make their event take place in a grand manner. I appreciate the participants from the country for the interest shown in this program. Such a webinar is the need of the hour, especially for the institutions going for accreditation in the post-pandemic period. I request you all to attend FDP regularly and make sessions interactive and get benefit out of programs. Finally, I wish the team and the participants all success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your felicitations. You are taking risk, you are traveling, yet you are felicitating the gathering. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now, dear ladies and gentlemen, let me invite beloved principal of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College to felicitate the gatherings. Please, ma'am.
Good evening to all delegates, faculty joined in this virtual media. The Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, Madurai, and A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, Thoothukudi jointly organized a 7-day national level online faculty development program on enhancing quality by unearthing innovative practices EQUIP 2022 in collaboration with IQAC Cluster, India. We have organized many FDPs, but for only 1 day or 2 days the most. So this is the first time we are organizing a faculty development program for continuously 7 days. For that, I would like to thank the management, respected Engineer Rajagopal, President, respected Mr. M. Vijay Raghavan, Secretary, beloved Principal Manogran of Mannar College, as well as our management for given consent to collaborate. And let me extend my sincere thanks to the Honorable President, Sri A.P.C. Chokkalingam, and beloved Madam Secretary, Srimati Sublakshmi Chokkalingam of our college management, and the constant source of all our resources and logistics in organizing every program. Though our President Sir couldn't join with us in this virtual media, Sir conveyed his wishes. My hearty congrats and appreciation to Dr. Ramasubaya, IKC Coordinator, Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, and Dr. Lily Golda, IKC Coordinator of our college. My congrats to the organizing secretaries, Ms. Vimala, Additional IKC Coordinator, Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, and Dr. Radha, IKC Member, A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women. My congrats to all the eminent speakers from Cluster Group all over India. It is a great honor and privilege to welcome today's speaker, Dr. S. Sankar, Advisor, IQAC Cluster, Retired Principal, Akkineni Nageswara Rao College, Andhra Pradesh. My special thanks to you, sir. My congrats to all the delegates from all over India, the colleagues, the faculty from various institutions, and faculty of our college and Mannar College. I look forward to a very useful and highly beneficial faculty development program. On behalf of the management, I wish the program a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, Sankar sir, would you like to have a few words, please, before you start your session?
This is a wonderful initiative, you see, by two dynamic IQAC coordinators, one from Thoothukudi and one from Madurai. And the principals also have encouraged them well. And my colleague, Mr. Kangude, who is here, who is also joined in this group, has made it possible, you see, for the clusterites to take part in this. And let me not take, you see, more time because it is taking my time. I have been specifically asking Lily Golda to give me my 2 hours time. Okay. The rest I'll deal with this when my presentation begins. And congratulations to the managements of both colleges and both principals and both IQAC coordinators and to the participants.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now you could see that 578 participants. We are expecting more than 1,000 participants, and we are waiting for them. And even if there are more than 1,000 participants, don't worry about it. We have a YouTube line, and in case it exceeds 1,000 participants, and we would be streaming it through YouTube. And at this juncture, once again, I thank all the participants for your overwhelming responses. Before going to the session, let us have a formal vote of thanks in the inaugural session. For which, let me invite our beloved sister, the IQAC member, the Dr. Virada, the organizing secretary, one of the organizing secretaries of this program. Madam, may I request you to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. A warm and cool good evening to one and all. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. I deem it a great privilege to have been asked to extend a vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first of all start by giving glory to God Almighty for making today's occasion a resounding success. I, on behalf of the entire fraternity of the organizers, extend my sincere thanks to A.P.C. President A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, and S. Rajagopal, President Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, Madurai, for permitting us to organize this national level FDP in a grand manner. I am honored and humbled to register my gratitude to Tirumadi Subbulakshmi Ammal, Secretary A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College, and M. Nirjay Raghavan, Secretary Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, Madurai, for providing a wonderful platform with all the necessary support and encouragement throughout the program. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. B. Manoharan, Principal, Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, and Dr. M. Meena Kumari, Principal of our own college, for encouraging us by suggesting healthy ideas for the effective and eminent planning of this online FDP as a collaborative activity up to these two esteemed institutions. I owe a special gratitude to the conveners, Dr. A. Ramasubaya sir, IKC Coordinator, Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, and Dr. T. Lily Golda, IKC Coordinator of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College, and Ms. D. Vimala, Additional IKC Coordinator of Mannar Thirumalai Naicker College, for their unstinted and tireless effort rendered throughout the event. We are grateful to all the IKC members of both the institutions for their valuable contribution. I take this opportunity to extend our most sincere thanks to Dr. Sankar sir, Advisor IQAC Cluster, Retired Principal, Akineni Nageshwar Rao College, Gudivada, Andhra Pradesh, for his able guidance, kindness, interest, support, and commitment. Thank you, sir. We are also grateful to all the resource persons, Dr. Shankar, Advisor IQAC Cluster, Professor Rajmohan, Assistant Professor of Computer Science, Assistant IQAC Coordinator, Karnatak Arts, Science, Commerce College, Bidar, Karnataka, Mrs. Gauri, Assistant Professor of Microbiology, Abeda, Inamdar Senior College, Pune, and also Associate Committee Member, IQAC Cluster of India, Mr. Payush Pahade, Associate Professor of Zoology, H.V. Desai College of Pune, Founder Member of IQAC Cluster India, and Mr. Sri Hari Pingal, Assistant Professor of Zoology, IQAC Coordinator, Soft Skill Trainer, Assessment Accreditation Mentor, Sanganmar Nagarpalika Arts, DJ Palmani Commerce, and B.N. Sarada Science College, Sanganmar, Maharashtra, Professor Bharat, Associate Professor, Head and Associate Professor, Department of Physics, PDES, Anandarao Power College, Pune, and also Founder Member of IQAC Cluster of India, Dr. Deepak, Professor Rahent, Department of English, IQAC Coordinator, DAV Valankar College of Commerce, Solapur, and also Trustee of IQAC Cluster of India. I thank all the distinguished invitees joined here, accepting our invitation and making this occasion a grand success. I must mention a deep sense of appreciation to all the participants across our country for their interest and enthusiasm towards this FDP and gracing this occasion by their calm and confident presence. I am grateful to our technical team, Mr. Sudhakar, Mr. Prakash, Mr. Suresh Babu, for their minute-to-minute technical guidance and assistance. I am running short of words to express my humble thanks to all our well-wishers and good hearts behind the grand success of this event. I sincerely apologize if I have missed out on somebody. Finally, I leave you with this inspiring quote by Martin Luther King. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Once again, I thank you all for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your vote of thanks, inspiring vote of thanks. Now, the session begins. Before the session begins, I would like to introduce another important personality who worked on the clock with us. And both of us, we have been traveling together for the last 5 or 6 years. And just as our principals have said, last week he came to our college to deliver a talk. And just like that, we discussed, in a short span of time, we could arrange such a huge faculty development program in a short span of time, as I told you. And such a way now, probably would have taken 1 week of time. In the 1 week of time, such a way we worked hard, we burned the midnight oils, and such a way we prepared the invitation and got the approval from both the management and also Cluster India. And then we immediately circulated it, and we had overwhelming responses. It is because of the hard work of the entire team, navigated by myself and Professor Lily Golda. And she's an assistant professor of English of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College, and she's also has been an IQAC coordinator for a long time, like me. And and she's also an important position in the IQAC Cluster India. When I discussed with her, and she only mooted the idea that we can associate with the cluster in IQAC Cluster India, and immediately spoke to Sankar sir and other dignitaries or other office bearers, and immediately we got permission. And I'm extremely happy. And now see that we have 604 participants right now. We're expecting 1,000 participants in another 10 to 15 minutes. And now let us begin the formal session. These few words, I'm extremely happy to introducing my beloved sister, Lily Golda from A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College. Now I request Lily Golda, madam, to take the session. She would monitor, she would moderate the entire session, and now it is over to you now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Warm greetings and good evening to all the delegates, the participants from all over India. It's a very happy occasion. Here, the two institutes from South India together with another cluster group. It's a joint venture, and we hope that this 7-day FDP will be a very grand success. So before I introduce the speaker, I would like to take a couple of minutes to talk about the cluster. I've been associated with IQAC cluster for the past 3 years. It's a group of IQAC coordinators from various colleges in Maharashtra. They have all joined for a noble cause to encourage a quality culture, not only in their own state, but in all parts of the nation. Their motto is cooperation and not competition. So we get 24/7 support to all issues regarding quality related ones. And they are striving to reduce the hype that appearing for NAC is a laborious exercise. They make it appear as if it were a piece of cake. And we have many clusterites here, and when Dr. Ramasubaya wanted the best speakers in the country for the FDP, I could suggest nobody else other than the clusterites. And here they are. And one asset we have in the cluster is Dr. Sankar. He is a retired principal of and advisor of Agnini Nageshwara Rao College. He has put in 38 years of teaching experience, and his profile runs to many pages. I think that I can just say that he's a person, even after retirement, he's available 24/7. Any query you raise to him, back comes the answer. Just like you search in Google, you get plenty of results. Dr. Shankar is always available for us for all, whether it is NAC related or anything related with the institution. whatever it is, he always extends, he is always ready to extend a very helping hand. And he has served as a resource person in many places. He has won a lot of awards, and he serves as an external member of the IQAC of many colleges, and he's an advisor to the IQAC cluster, and he has guided many colleges in submitting NAC, SSR, AQAR, and he has also assisted in conducting academic and administrative audits, and he has been instrumental in securing A++ for many colleges in and around Andhra Pradesh. And his rich experience and wisdom, all we are very lucky to have him with us. And I don't want to take much of his time, because he was very particular about the 2 hours, whether he would be getting the entire 2 hours. Sir, now the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lily Golda, madam, and Ramasubaya, sir, and the venerable principals of the colleges, the secretaries of the colleges, and the wonderful gathering, including, you see, these organizing from the forefront, Sudhakar and Vimala, Radha, and the other people who are actively involved in this. Welcome, Kangade sir. You see, Kangade sir is somewhere here. I see. Sometime later, I think we'll have to unmute him and we'll have to listen to him for a minute or two. The faculty development programs have been organized, you see, with the initiatives of the Kothari Commission's recommendations. Kothari, Ram Kothari was the chairman of University Grants Commission. And a report has been submitted by Kothari during 1964-66 to see to it that the teachers are constantly trained. The Ministry of Human Resources Development, University Grants Commission, AICTE, NAC, universities, colleges, and organizations like our own IQAC clusters have been doing, you see, their little bit to improve the quality and relevance of our higher education system. The quality of higher education, you see, definitely depends a lot on the quality of teachers of the country, of whom 618 plus are present here today. There is a greater need on the part of teachers to constantly work towards the improvement of the quality of teaching learning process. In a way, this FDP is like a train the trainer program. These are some of the ideas that I just wanted to share with reference to the FDP. Now, I wish to share my screen. Is it okay, Sudhakar sir, if I share my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can. Yes, sir. You can share your screen.
Right. Is my screen visible?
No,
sir. Screen not yet visible for us, sir.
Okay, let me see. I go to Zoom. Share screen. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Sir, is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We could see the file mode, sir.
All right. Now?
Super.
Okay, right. Can you delete, you see, the right side, the other window, or reduce it?
Sir, can you see the 3 buttons on top of it, sir? when you
Yeah.
move the mouse.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are clear for it.
Right.
If you can press the first
Okay, right.
button.
This is the 7-day online faculty development program. Is a novel exercise. When I was into service in the first 10 years of my service, I applied to Central Institute of English and Foreign Language. Professor Balasubramanian was there. You see, I got admission. I went to the principal. He accepted to send me. But on the day I was about to travel, he said, no, Shankar, I cannot relieve you because if you go for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, a lot of work disturbance will be there. And I was not permitted. That principal is no more. Professor Balasubramanian is also no more. But I am now able to talk in FDP wonderfully. See, the grace of God, I think, you see, to be able to do is. The future of higher education in the light of NEP 2020. Several of our teachers have already heard me speaking in several colleges, in several forums about NEP, but not many have studied it in depth. I think I'll take them in depth, you see, as far as possible in the given 1 hour, 36 minutes. I was promised 2 hours, but I'll try to complete it, you see, before 6 o'clock. You have here the Committee for Draft of National Education Policy, Kastur Rangan from ISRO Bangalore. See, there are other various important people, but Manjul Bhargava from Princeton University, USA is also involved in the preparation of this NEP 2020. NEP 2020 is in 4 parts. The first part deals with point numbers 1 to 8 deal with school education. You all know, you see, the new education policy, national education policy suggests that there will be 3 years of foundational stages with first and second grade also included in the first 5 years. Then the preparatory stage of school education is in the second stage, classes 3, 4, and 5. The middle school level is 6, 7, 8, 3 more years, and secondary education and intermediate education as it exists today is in the last 4 years. So the part 1 deals with early childhood care and education, foundational literacy and numeracy, curtailing dropout rates and ensuring universal access, curriculum and pedagogy in schools, teachers. The 5th point is teachers. Equitable and inclusive education, learning for all. Remember this word, equitable. Efficient resourcing and effective governance at school level also, and standard setting and accreditation for school education too. We've been hearing about NAC for colleges and universities, but they also are thinking about introducing standard setting and accreditation for school education. In part 2, we have from 9 to 19, which deals with higher education. And the third part deals with, you see, point numbers 20 to 24 with other key areas of focus, and part 4 deals with, you see, points 25 to 27 on how to make this happen. Right. The future of higher education in the light of NEP 2020. The first part is school education. Now we are looking at second part, points 9 to 19, which deal with higher education. Higher educational institutions must play a role in developing India as a democratic, just, socially conscious, cultured, and humane nation, upholding liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice for all. You see, that's what is written in this. But on the right side, can you see the picture? Are you able to see it? It is summed up in this. Okay, be constitutional. Higher education should bring in the constitution, you see, while they are doing, you see, what they are supposed to do. While imparting education, abide by the constitution, infuse into the students' minds the values of the constitution. That's what the first point, 9.1, which speaks about higher education says. Higher education institutions must contribute towards sustainable livelihoods and economic development of the nation and make it a knowledge economy and a society. A knowledge economy and a society. That is what the first point says. So, are we prepared in our colleges, in our universities? I am saying universities because you see several people from C.V. Raman University, Vaishali, Bihar are also participating in this. I welcome them all. So are we doing it? Are we trying to infuse a sense of the constitutional values into the minds of students in colleges and universities and postgraduate courses? Are we following constitution in letter and spirit? That is more important. It's not enough if you take a geotagged photograph of a constitutional day celebration, perhaps August 15th or Republic Day or Voters Day, whatever. Are we doing it, in letter and spirit? This is a question that you'll have to ask yourself. All the participants, I request them, mull over this, think about this. When you go back, what are the outcomes of this webinar? What are the outcomes of this FDP? What did you learn? Ask yourself, check yourself whether you have been able to do something related to the ideas which are being presented here as part of NEP 2020. That's what I think I should ask you. Please, please, please. I may wake you up, sometime later, maybe at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and I'll be asking you this question. What about this? Have you given a serious thought to this? This may be a question that I will raise, again and again. Now, point number 9.1.1. What is higher education supposed to do? It is supposed to develop well-rounded creative individuals with economic independence. Economic independence, unless a student who goes out of the college is able to get a job or start something on his own, unless he has some economic independence, the education that he has gathered, the knowledge that he has gained is of no use. Why do students come to college? Students come to college to gather knowledge about a particular subject by joining a specific program, and they should be in a position to speak about the knowledge that they have gained while joining, while they are in the college. That is communication skills. That is point number 2. And they should be in a position to have kind of analytical skills also, whether what is said is correct or not. The student is expected to be in a position to analyze for himself and for other also. So the 3 points: acquisition of knowledge, communication skills, and analytical skills. And being part of a global citizen, global perspectives a student is supposed to have. With the COVID pandemic, we have learned on how to join, webinars like this, nationally or internationally. And a large number of our students are going to work abroad, in global companies, software companies or hardware companies, laboratories, whatnot. So a student is coming to college to be able to work as a global citizen. And we have come from a society, we have come from a community, we have come from a background to which we will have to give back, the social responsibility that the student is supposed to discharge. Ask your students, ask yourself whether the students coming to your college, joined your program, who are in your class, whether they are capable of gathering knowledge in your class. Gathering the knowledge is not enough. They should be in a position to speak about the knowledge that they have gathered. They should have analytical skills, and they should be global citizens, and they are to be trained to give back to society from which they have come. And the society is nurturing them, nourishing them by funding education at the state and national levels. So 9.1.1 deals with develop well-rounded creative individuals with economic independence. For these 2 words, economic independence, I went to that extent of explaining all these things. It is not enough if you get educated. You should have a character, develop character, ethical, moral, and scientific temper, analytical temper. Once again, I say scientific temper. Don't believe everything that you hear, listen. So have scientific temper, creativity. Unless you are creative, you will not be able to progress in life. A spirit of service, giving back to the community, and 21st century capabilities, team work. All these are required as part of 21st century capabilities in all disciplines of study. It is not only limited to computer students. Arts, humanities, sciences, pharmacy, professional courses, engineering, law, whatever be the program that you have chosen, all disciplines of study, the students are expected to develop character, ethical and constitutional values, intellectual curiosity, and so on and so forth. Don't worry about taking a screenshot of this. This doesn't come under intellectual property rights. The NEP 2020 can be downloaded. You see, this is with Ramasubaya sir and Lily Golda madam, and that can be accessed or borrowed anytime. So don't waste your time, you see, taking a picture or writing down things. And the students are expected to develop identified sets of skills and values which will be incorporated at each stage of learning, whether it is from pre-KG to post-graduation or research. At each stage, sets of skills and values will be infused into the education. It must result in a skilled nation that can find and implement robust solutions to its own problems. I'll ask a question. What are the problems plaguing our nation? Don't answer. I'll also not answer. Just scribble down and say, or keep it in your memory. What are the problems that are plaguing our nation, and what are the solutions that you'll have to think about? You go and ask, you see, do we have any problems? If you're a man, go and ask your wife, you see, do we have any problems at home? And ask her, you see, for the solution. How can we resolve them? If you are a woman, see, go and ask your husband, you see, do we have any problems at home? He says, once you have returned home, you see, no problems at all. Our problems begin only now that you have come. You see, whatever it is. Similarly, ask yourself, do we have any problems in school, in college, in the university, in the state, in the country, see, and how do we resolve those problems? Robust solutions are to be found to the problems that we are facing in the country, that the education system should ensure people are capable of doing. And it is very critical, you see, the report is, Kasturirangan committee did not hide anything, you see, did not try to make it a sweet pill. He said, see, the higher education system as it is existing today is severely fragmented. More than 50,000 institutions, most are commercial with no education taking place. What have been governments doing all these days? No education taking place. Commercial, paper colleges there are many. There are many good institutions, but there are equally many bad institutions. That is what the central government accepted by accepting the recommendations of Kasturirangan Commission. And poor learning outcomes. If you ask a student, what did you learn in this course? A program leads to a degree. A course is a paper in a degree. Maybe see, if you have a, if you are studying first semester, maybe 5, 6, or 7 papers will be there. Each paper is a course. So poor learning outcomes. Are you able to make your students speak about the outcome of that course? What did you learn in this course? At the end of the examination, after the examination, first semester examination, if you ask the students to tell you about what they learned, they should be in a position to communicate. If you are not able to elicit an answer, so the learning outcomes are not there. And rigid separation of disciplines. Arts people do not know anything about maths. Maths people do not know anything about biology. That kind of separation of disciplines is there, which is not desirable. Lack of access in most areas, people are not able to get admission because there are no colleges in that particular region. Lack of access, especially in socio-economically disadvantaged areas. Lack of teacher and institutional autonomy to innovate and excel. There are, you see, sometimes teachers. I'm happy, see, Manoharan sir, the principal, was saying, when Lily Golda madam and Ramasubaya sir came, I gave them full permission, see, to start this FDP. It was a wonderful initiative. How many principals give? Hina Kumari madam must also have felt the same kind of happiness. How many principals give you freedom to innovate and excel? Then the report says there are inadequate mechanisms for merit-based career management and progression of faculty. A faculty member who is not able to get promotion in spite of his excellence will be disheartened. You see, what kind of contribution can he make to the college or to the education system? Lack of research and funding across disciplines. In sciences, there is plenty of money. But what about arts and commerce, humanities, management? Not much money for research in the other areas except science. Poor governance and leadership of HEAs. This goes with the saying, there are only paper colleges, commercial colleges, no outcomes. It continues. Poor governance and leadership, higher educational institutions, regulatory system not empowered to close fake colleges. I've been saying this, UGC for a college which is in the heart of Delhi, UGC expresses inability. Even the orders of UGC asking the college to close down are of no effect, because this college has gone to the court of law and got an order to continue. The degrees or the education that is imparted is of no value, but in spite of that, it is flourishing. Regulatory system is not empowered to close fake colleges. Large affiliating universities, 300 is supposed to be the maximum. There are 700, 800, 900 affiliated colleges under one university. What kind of control will the affiliating university have? Large affiliating universities which result in poor undergraduate education in colleges. Then what is it that the policy suggests? The policy has several key changes. It suggests key changes to the current system. Multidisciplinary universities and colleges, at least one in every district, they are going to be started. You see, multidisciplinary UG education and faculty and UG institutional autonomy. You are free to introduce anything. I'll tell you something about this, that kind of freedom, you see, when I refer to Randy Posh at a little later stage. And revamping of curriculum, pedagogy, and the assessment, that student assessment methods and supporting of students also. And then merit appointments, career progression based on teaching, research, and service. Well, I was giving a lecture on this. One of the participants asked, how do you ensure, see, that only meritorious people are recruited as teachers? My co-research person was asked this question. He was unable to reply, and I said, you see, it's very easy. Just as you recruit the soldiers in your army, recruit teachers only on the basis of merit, you see, and there was no sound from the other side, you see. There were no further questions relating to that. Can we do this in all appointments? Only meritorious people to be recruited to the colleges. Then the key changes that are suggested is there is going to be a single regulator, you see, at the bottom of the screen, right side. There are going to be dominant key changes, some new, some modifying, some shift, some transformed, some changes will be brought in. A national research foundation will be set up to fund research, not necessarily in sciences, but also in other disciplines. HEI governance by independent boards with academic and administrative autonomy, not directly under the control of ministries or political leaders. Light but tight regulation, a single regulator for all of higher professional education. See, you can go to an ATM, see, get cash, you see, find out the balance, you can get your passbook printed, all these things you can do from an ATM. Perhaps a single regulator will be introduced as per the recommendations of NEP 2020 in the near future. Increased access, scholarships for disadvantaged and underprivileged students. Much more number of scholarships, that's what NEP 2020 says, than they are existing today. Scholarships will be introduced. More scholarships, more free education, more number of students will come and get educated to take the nation forward. Then point number 10, institutional restructuring and consolidation. So existing setup may have to be restructured, and you'll have to consolidate the gains of the institutions that we have on hand. Transforming HEIs into large multidisciplinary universities, colleges, and HEI, higher education institution clusters, knowledge hubs, each with 3,000 or more students. I do not know how many students are there in this Madurai College. I do not know how many students are there in Thoothukudi College. Maybe see around 3,000. I am not sure, but at least 3,000 students in each college, with a, which will be a hub, which will be a cluster offering several programs. India urgently needs to bring back the great Indian tradition of Takshashila, which is very near to Rawalpindi or Pakistan of today. Nalanda and Vikramshila are in Bihar. Vallabhi is in Gujarat. I was making a reference to sir, I was making a reference to Ramasubbaya sir, you see, of how Kiladi, about 12 kilometers from your place, Madurai, is noted by archaeologists having a culture dating back to 3rd century BC with wonderful, you see, artifacts, wonderful civilization, the constructions, all these, even documents on stone and metal have also been found. See, I have also given a link here. 16 ancient universities of India from 3,600 plus years ago. MyIndiaMyGlory.com. I request you, the participants, the 600 plus participants, when you go back home, try to Google. You have great heritage. People belonging to different disciplines. You have in Andhra, we have Nagarjuna Charya, who was the founder of the Nagarjuna School of Education, the Krishna University, Krishna River area. And you have similar centers in Bengal, erstwhile India, Bangladesh also. In several states, we have, very old universities. Their traditions have to be brought in. That's what the NEP 2020 recommends. And what is it that these old ancient universities did? They tried to create well-rounded and innovative, creative individuals studying in vibrant, multidisciplinary environments. That has to be brought back. I request you to kind of, after studying NEP 2020, what is it that you have learned? I have gone back to my place. I researched. I found that there are universities within a stone's throw, or within 100 kilometers, or few hundred kilometers of where I am living, where our college is situated. It's not necessarily Takshashila, Nalanda, Vallabhi, or Vikramshila to which we have to go. We can even take our students. We can even study about these traditions of the our elders of the universities which are within our range. Then restructuring and consolidation continued. 10.3, higher education system shall have high quality teaching, not rote learning, teaching. Then there is research, and whatever you get from a college or a university should be given back to the community. Community engagement is important. Research intensive universities will be started. Teaching intensive universities will also be started. Autonomous degree granting colleges will be there, and the as the name says, research universities will focus on research. Teaching universities will place emphasis on teaching. They will also conduct significant research. All colleges to become autonomous. Kindly remember, my dear friends who are attending the webinar, not much time. All colleges need to become autonomous, which are large multidisciplinary institutions, and they are primarily focused on undergraduate teaching. When you go back to your colleges, tell them, we are not going to be independent affiliated colleges anymore, any longer. We are going to become autonomous colleges. NEP 2020 has come, and several cities, several states have already accepted the recommendations and implemented them, from 21-22 or 22-23. Then 10.4, HEIs will have autonomy to move from one category to another. 3 categories of institutions have been seen in 10.3. Expectations of quality of education across all categories of HEIs will be the same. Because it is a dispensary, because it's a government hospital, because it is a super specialty hospital, the treatment should not vary. It should always try to protect the citizen who is involved in an accident. Similarly, education, the quality of education should be the same all across the categories of HEIs. HEIs to support other HEIs in development, community engagement, and service. I was the other day speaking as part of EQUIP. I was the other day speaking to Ramasubbaya sir and Lily Golda madam about the collaboration. It is not enough if you are accredited, if you have a A grade or A+ grade, if you are an autonomous college. Hand holding should be there. Paramarsh scheme is introduced by the University Grants Commission, which gave money to colleges which have A or A plus grade, to help other self-financed colleges or unaided colleges to try and go for NAC accreditation. Even if you are not funded by the UGC, why not? Why should you not involve yourself in supporting other colleges? You have to give back to the society. You have to help others. That's why cluster has the motto, not competition, but cooperation. HEA is to support other HEAs in development, community engagement and service, and it should also support school education. Why? Why should we, working in college and universities, support school education? Because you see, the seeds of college are laid there in schools. If you have foundation, don't be self-centered. Unless the schools produce quality students, the colleges, junior colleges or degree colleges or PG colleges will not be able to train better citizens or better employees. 10.7, by 2040, all higher education institutions will become multidisciplinary with thousands of student enrollments, 3,000 students minimum in a college, in a cluster. Increasing GER, gross enrollment ratio, to 50% by 2030. It is around 29%, you see, when I Googled very recently. From 29% in 75 years, we'll have to move to 50% by 2030. In 8 years, we are supposed to go to 50% gross enrollment ratio, GER, gross enrollment ratio. How can this be done? The universities and colleges will have to be doubled. Every week, I think, you see, every month, one university, every week, you see, a college has to be started. I was making a reference to this in Anna Adarsh College when I was speaking to them. There are so many self-financed colleges. There are so many qualified teachers working in unaided sections, self-financed sections. Kindly recognize their contributions. See, make them aided or absorb them into government. So permit these existing colleges to expand, to start new courses, new programs. All these things that the government will have to do, but we'll have to represent. I was a union leader. I was a teacher union leader. I was a member of Teachers Union of Andhra Pradesh and in turn of IFAC. So it is the responsibility of not only of the teacher unions, but also the management unions will have to come together. We'll have to sit and chalk out a program and try to impress upon the governments, whether at the state level or the central level, to kindly consider the existing colleges and the staff working therein for regularization, or at least giving, you see, salaries on par with the government colleges or self-finance or aided colleges, and then start new colleges. This is one of the things that I keep on telling my friends who are taking part in this kind of webinar. More HEIs in underserved regions. The gross enrollment ratio in higher and vocational education to increase from 26.3, that was an old figure, to 50% by 2030. Capacity creation by consolidating, expanding, and improving existing HEIs. So when you make a representation to your education minister in Tamil Nadu, you see, refer to 10.8 in NEP 2020, drafted by Kasturi Rangan and accepted by the central government. It says capacity creation by consolidating the existing and expanding the existing colleges and improving existing HEIs. Tell them, you see, I'm not asking anything for our college if you are the management member. We are not asking anything for our colleagues if you are a union leader. But we are trying to ask you to represent to you to abide by what is said in NEP 2020, point number 10.8. That's what you'll have to plead with them. Point number 10 continued. Growth in both public and private institutions, government and private institutions. It should be in a fair and transparent system for public funding. Whatever money is given, you see, it should be transparent, should be reflected on the websites of the funding agency. Support for quality public higher education institutions. All institutions may run open distance learning and online programs if accredited to do so. There is a controversy, you see, in your state, you see, of one university offering distance education programs without getting the renewal for that particular job. So if you are qualified, if you are permitted, you can even run distance education programs as per NEP 2020, point number 10.10. Single stream HEIs. So no more single arts college, commerce college, or science college. Single stream HEIs will become multidisciplinary. All HEIs will move to full autonomy. Academic and administrative autonomy is expected to have. So independent decision making and quality private institutions will be encouraged. Quality private institutions will be encouraged. This is wonderful. But look at this point, 10.11. You see, single stream HEIs will become multidisciplinary. Is there any deadline given here? No, they're silent, very silent there. So we'll have to ask them about this also. Institutional restructure and consolidation continued, 10.12. Empowerment and autonomy to create, be creative, innovate. In 15 years, there is a deadline. You see, look at the deadline figure, you see on the right side. In 15 years, affiliated college will be phased out through a graded system of autonomy. So I was telling you earlier also, the 600 plus members who are taking part, go back when you go to the college tomorrow, tell your management, tell your principals, we are not going to be affiliated college merely. We are going to be autonomous college because 10.12 of NEP 2020 says in 15 years, affiliated college will be phased out through a graded system of autonomy. Then there is a very big question, you see. Autonomy is usually granted to colleges which have secured NAC A grade or more. There were several questions. Sir, what will happen? We are a B double plus college. There is recently, see, a college got 2.99 and they asked me, sir, we got 2.9. Can we go for review or whatever? I said, you see, why don't you wait for some time? No, we want to apply for autonomy. And then I told them, you see, why don't you write to the University Grants Commission? Will this rule be changed that you should have A or more grade from NAC to be able to apply for autonomy? See, I think if the University Grants Commission is very serious about it, they'll have to change this condition. Let us wait and see. Existing affiliating university will be responsible for mentoring its affiliated colleges. Is this possible? Are they doing it? Ask yourself this question. Maximum number of colleges affiliated by university not to exceed 300. That means more number of universities will have to be started. And when more number of universities are going to be started, you see, all those people, capable people like both the IQAC coordinators having doctorate degrees in English, they may also be considered for appointment in their respective departments of a university which is going to be started or which is existing and expanding. So maximum number of colleges affiliated by university not to exceed 300. And affiliated colleges, all affiliated colleges to be accredited and to become autonomous. Compulsory accreditation is going to be made very compulsory, but they are extending the deadlines. 10.13, integration of all higher education into one higher education system, including professional and vocational education. No separation. You see, professional education institution used to be different. Agricultural universities, medical colleges, engineering colleges, law colleges, and so on and so forth. They'll be integrated and brought together. The present complex nomenclature of HEAs in the country as deemed to be university or affiliating university, affiliating technical university, unitary university shall be replaced by university. Only one name. It is simply one university. That's all. And we are going to point number 11. It is 4:56. The time is 4:56. I'm given 2 hours and I have not many points left. I almost completed 2 points, 9 and 10. We have points up to 27. So bear with me if I rush. I know that you are all muted. You cannot raise your hand or raise your voice, but try to bear with me as I go take you forward. So it's a more holistic education. Holistic, you see, if you download NEP 2020 document, PDF document running to about 65 pages, kindly search how many times the word holistic is used in this document. India's tradition of holistic and multidisciplinary education learning must be brought back. Banabhatta's Kadambari described a good education as knowledge of the 64 kalas or arts. UG education in humanities and arts to be integrated with STEM. STEM is science. Look at the right side, is a picture. Science, technology, engineering, and maths for positive learning outcomes. You see, you have to have a holistic education. STEM is to be integrated with humanities and arts. Art education for well-rounded individuals with 21st century capabilities or capacities. Engineering will move to holistic education with more arts and humanities. Integration of all types of programs. One integrated university, no separation of disciplines. There will be 3,000 or more students in a cluster college, in a hub, and people will be brought together. But there is one problem. If there are too many people admitted in a university or admitted in a college, if there is a small problem, what will happen? That is also one thing that we have to think about. A well-rounded person, who is he? He is someone who is skilled, capable, or knowledgeable in a lot of different things, or something that covers a lot of different areas or subjects. These are the 21st century skills. On the right side, you have a picture. Critical thing, they should have communication, they should be able to speak, citizenship, giving back to the following the constitution and abiding by the laws, creativity, srijanatmakata, that's what we say in Telugu, growth mindset, always innovating, and collaboration, teamwork. These are the 21st century skills that we are supposed to instill into the students. My friends, you see, attending the FDP, kindly bear these things. Are your students able to think critically, or are we able to think critically? Are we able to communicate properly? Are my students able to communicate properly? Are they creative? Do they abide by the citizenship norms? Do they have a growth mindset? Are they collaborating? See, like these two colleges collaborating is with our IQAC cluster and all the other colleges, supporting them in the cause of organizing an FDP pan-India level. An example of a well-rounded person is someone who is good in studies, plays sports, and has a good relationship with his family. Education, sports, family, all these things should be brought together. And point number 11 continued, holistic education. 11.5, imaginative, flexible curricular structures, multiple entry and exit points, removing rigid boundaries. Earlier, see, when a student wanted to discontinue after first year, he said, you wrote in the TC, discontinued. Second year, someone wanted to drop out, discontinued. Third year, first semester, he wanted to take TC, discontinued. Now, it's not that. Things have eased a bit. NEP 2020 recommends, you see, the first year, if he wants to leave, you see, he'll get a certificate. Second year, if he wants to leave, he'll get a diploma. Third year, if he wants to leave, it is going to be a degree. See, this kind of change is being introduced as part of NEP 2020 in all the universities and colleges in the central level and at the state level. Then high quality arts education, look at point number 11.6, flexible curriculum. Curriculum should be, syllabus is different. Syllabus is what is prescribed by the university or by the college, if it's an autonomous college, to be taught in different programs and different courses. Curriculum encompasses lots of things, including, you see, is behavior, citizenship education, service orientation, participation in sports, NCC, NSS, and so on and so forth. High quality arts education, flexible curriculum, less rote learning or by hearting, emphasis on communication. Without being able to speak, if a student graduates and comes out of college or university, fayda nahi. What is the worth? What is she worth? Unless one is able to communicate, there is no point in getting education. Then interdisciplinary thinking, innovative thinking. New departments will be created. You see, credit-based courses in community engagement. See, look at the importance given to community engagement and service, environmental and value-based education. We have to have value-based education. There are several papers being taught in schools and colleges and universities also. Then you are thinking about the environment, greed audit, environment audit. All these kinds of audits are being also looked at by NAC. Universities as they exist today, are they prepared to remove rigid boundaries? Look at point number 11.5, removing rigid boundaries. Are we in the existing setup prepared to remove rigid boundaries? This is one thing that we'll have to ask. And 11.8, internships with local industry, whether they are part of syllabus or not. Internships with local industry, businesses, artists, etc., to students for practical side of learning and employability. This will have to be a change that has to be introduced by the university or by autonomous college or by the affiliated colleges towards a more holistic education. So 11.6 and 11.8, it is the responsibility of the local colleges to take steps for getting internships for your students in industry or business or along with other artists, etc. Towards more holistic education, continued 11.9. UG program, either 3 or 4 year duration, multiple exit options with appropriate certifications. I was making a reference to it earlier. 4-year bachelor's program leads to a degree with research. It is supposed to be a preferred option. And then a student can obtain a certificate after completing 1 year, diploma after 2 years, bachelor's degree after 3 years. I was making a reference to that. Academic bank of credit to digitally store the academic credits. Several members of the cluster were asking, you see, there are 3,540 plus members in the IQAC cluster Telegram group. You see, if you have not already joined, I request you see Kangude sir to kindly post a link of cluster membership in the chat box. Academic bank of credits to digitally store the academic credits. A webinar has also been conducted by Pahade sir about the A.P.C's academic bank of credit. Look at this link also. Then please do not worry. It is the responsibilities of the universities to join first, and then they will introduce the colleges to join. You see, autonomous college first perhaps, and affiliated college will come later to join this academic bank of credits. Then different master's programs. A 2-year program, second year devoted to research for those who completed a 3 years bachelor degree. After a 4-year bachelor's program with research, there could be 1-year master's program. There may be an integrated 5-year bachelor's master's program put together. Undertaking PhD requires a master's degree or a 4-year bachelor's degree with research. You have to complete your PG. Even after NEP 2020, unless you complete 3 years degree and 2 years PG, you will not be able to get admission into PhD. The MPhil program, as you all know, is discontinued. And go to 11.11. MERUs are multidisciplinary education research universities at par with IITs, IIMs, etc. to be set up to reach global status. The Ivy League universities in the US. On the east side of United States of America, you have, you see, all these Ivy League universities. Carnegie Mellon, Brown University, Yale University, all these, so on and so forth. So MERUs are multidisciplinary educational research universities will be set on par with IITs and IIMs to reach the global status. There will be focus on, look at the next point, 11.12. Focus on research and innovation, startup and incubation, technology development, border areas or frontier areas of research, centers, industry, academic linkages, interdisciplinary and humanities, social sciences research. A lot has been infused into this. Academia industry linkage, you see, the gap has to be bridged. Look at the picture, you see, at the bottom right side. Academy industrial linkages. They are not separate entities. One depends on the other, you see. If our students are to be absorbed into industry, we'll have to train students in such a manner as to make them eligible to get recruited in that particular industry. So academy industry linkages are to be brought in. Now we have to go to the next point. It is 5:07. Now I completed 3 points in the 1 hour allotted to me or given to me. Point number 12, optimal learning environment support for students. So we have in the first 3 points, we have spoken about the situation as it exists today, the restructuring needed, and now what kind of support are we going to give to the students. For effective learning, the curriculum should be relevant. Continuous assessment, not just one year-end examination. With a semester system introduced throughout the length and breadth of India, we have at least 2 semester-end examinations each year. Continuously assessment. We have a semester before semester-end examination. We have internal examinations. See, but a student is assessed by the teacher in different stages. You have formative assessment, you have summative assessment or written assessment, and sometimes there is a diagnostic assessment also. So formative assessment takes place every day when the teacher comes into the class and interacts with the students. Continuous assessment of the performance is necessary to find out if there are slow learners or advanced learners, and what kind of support is to be given to advanced learners, or what kind of help is needed by slow learners. All these things the teacher will be able to judge. Adequate student support should be given. Regularly updated curriculum for specified learning outcomes. So the curriculum has to be periodically updated, and high quality teaching methods, high quality pedagogy. I'm happy that Thoothukudi College, Mahalaxmi College has organized a webinar dealing with the various new teaching methodologies. I was also one of the resource persons for that. Scientific assessment methods. If lecturer A or lecturer B or C values your answer script, the same marks, at least nearly same marks, should be allotted. If it is scientific, it will be so. Otherwise, you see, some may give you 35, some may give you 70, some may give you 15. So it should not hamper the growth of students or the spirit of the students. Scientific assessment methods should come where everything is objective. Development of capacities for high quality learning. You should train yourself to make the students develop their capacities to learn high quality subject content. This is something that we'll have to do. We have to learn to train the students to be able to absorb high quality learning methods or content. 12.2, special programs for gifted students. I was making a reference to that. Advanced learners to complete programs on a fast track mode. See, abroad you have the option. If the student is very gifted, he can or she can complete, you see, in 18 months or 15 months, even 12 months of a double year program. Autonomy to institutions and faculty to innovate on curriculum and pedagogy and assessment. Innovate, being creative. Have you ever heard of this name, Randy Pausch? Kindly read his last lecture. A lecturer, Randy Pausch, who is diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, who died when he is 45 years. Before his death, he delivered a lecture, you see, which is brought out in a book, and a wonderful video is also there. The last lecture by Randy Pausch, R-A-N-D by Randy Pausch, P-A-U-S-C-H, Randy Pausch, the last lecture. Kindly read it. But there is one precaution that you have to take. If you start it at a little late in the evening, tell your family members, you see, I'll not be able to sleep unless I complete, because you will not be able to go to bed without completing, you see, the whole book. And similarly, try to watch his video. Randy Pausch, when he started a new program in the Carnegie Mellon University, he clearly says, you see, only Carnegie Mellon University will be able to permit lecturers to innovate in this kind of a manner. It is a they started a course called Entertainment Technology Center, and they trained the students to innovate in such a manner that the results were extraordinary. Companies came recruiting the students for 3 years. They came to the center, Carnegie Mellon University, and offered open jobs to students for 3 years continuously. That means the students who have not even taken admission into the course are also recruited. That is the kind of demand, you see, if you have innovative structures of curriculum. Autonomy to institutions and faculty to innovate on curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. Opportunities for funding activities organized by students. How many colleges are giving funding to students to organize events? And where does the funding come from? You have to ask yourself. Faculty to act as mentors and guides, that's what we have been doing. All assessment systems to be decided by the higher education institution. Choice-based credit system, CBCS, will have a room for innovation and flexibility. No rigid structure. HEA is to move away from high-stakes examination towards more continuous and comprehensive value. Several colleges under AICTE, even if the student is not able to appear for second internal or third internal, whatever internal it is, they are prepared to give advantage to student by looking at his constant performance in the classes or in the assignments or on the basis of the first internal assessment and send him to the examination. See, are we prepared to do it? Then 12.5, funds and academic support to socio-economically disadvantaged groups, SEDGs, professional, academic and career counseling to all students, professional counseling on what they should pursue after that particular degree. Academic counseling also will be there, and career counseling into what kind of jobs they should go and what are the things that they have to do. All these things will be done. Open distance learning programs to be equivalent to quality in-class programs. You have several courses, distance education courses and several distance education programs, and universities running them. The quality of the students in distance education programs and the quality of students in regular college programs like our college programs should be on par. All programs to achieve global standards of quality with internationally relevant curricula. It is not enough if you study something in your college in Thoothukudi or Madurai or in Gudivada, in our college, or in Orissa. Whatever you study should be relevant and useful throughout the length and breadth of India and internationally also. That's what NEP 2020.12.7 says. It should also, the curriculum should be of such a manner, of nature. It should attract international students to India also. Mobility to Indian students to carry out research abroad. If a student who studies his degree or PG in your college, in India, South India, wherever, he should be, if he demands, if he asks, if he requests, he should be permitted to go and complete or continue his research abroad also. Look at 12.8, internationalization, premium education at affordable cost. I request, you see, a little funny, premium education at affordable cost. Try to look at the fee pattern in IIMs and IITs, or in ISB, or IISc, Indian Institute of Sciences in Bangalore. See, try to look at the fee structure in these organizations. Premium education at affordable cost, high performing universities to set up campuses in other countries also. Other country universities are coming to our country to set up their campuses. So likewise, see, the central government is thinking that we should also allow our own universities and colleges to set shop abroad. World universities from top 100 list to be permitted to operate in India. Look at that picture on the right side, you see, of the top 6 colleges, 4 are from US, 2 from UK. Research collaboration and student exchanges with global institutions. This is a wonderful idea. How practical it is going to be, you have to ask yourself, and you have to ask your respective governments of respective states and also the center. Credits acquired in foreign universities to be counted for an award of degree, but there will be some limitations also to that. We have to accept it. Then student participation in sports, culture, arts, activity, community service, etc. should be encouraged. Counseling systems in all HEIs. Support to rural and small town students who will not be perhaps able to do well in speaking, say, the mother, anything other than the mother tongue. See, they may not be proficient in speaking English. So increase in hostel and medical facility for all students. Students to be involved in decision-making bodies. As it is, you have, see, students on your grievance redressal cell, you know, IQAC, on your library committee and sports committee and other committees also perhaps. But students to be involved in decision-making bodies in each of your colleges. Kindly go back and ask your principal, see how many students are cooperating and what are these decision-making bodies that we have. HEA is to be more responsive to feedback and student needs. Do we regularly take feedback from students? What do you mean by regularly? Every semester? If it's not possible, at least once a year, do you take feedback from students? And how are you going to meet the needs of the student on the basis of the feedback given by them? This is something that we'll have to think. When you go back to college, kindly make a note. Do we have students on our various committees, decision-making bodies? Do we take feedback regularly? Who analyzes the feedback? It should be the job of the IQAC. And what kind of decisions are taken to help the students on the basis of the feedback that has been obtained. Financial support for students, expanded national scholarship portal for comprehensive financial support. If you give concessions for fees, okay. But what about food? There may be families who are not able to spend money on the education of the children, on feeding their children, or the dress of the children. So what kind of comprehensive financial support is going to be extended by the central government as part of NEP 2020 or by the state governments? Private HEIs will be encouraged. Look, you see, tongue in cheek. Private HEIs will be encouraged to offer larger number of freeships and scholarships to their students. Is the government relegating its responsibility to private players, private enterprises to offer too many scholarships? Will any college, a private college, provide, you see, too many free sheets and too many scholarships? Will it be able to do it? You see, the viability is also, it is something that we have to ask ourselves. Then, point number 13, motivated, energized, and capable faculty. See, from 9 to 12, we have completed 4 points. Now it speaks about the faculty. Faculty recruitment, I have made a reference to this, how capable teachers are to be recruited. Faculty recruitment, career progression, etc. will be methodical or systematic. They'll have professional development opportunities. This is one professional development opportunity made possible by your college, respective college and IQAC cluster. This is free of cost. Hats off to both these colleges. They are not charging anything, you see, from the members who enrolled. They will have professional development opportunities, increased compensation. There are still teachers working for 5,000, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, and even less. Low faculty motivation will be addressed. If you are not given enough salary, what kind of motivation you have to infuse? We do not know, but it says the NEP 2020 on point number 13.1 says low faculty motivation will be addressed. So they work for advancing students, institution, and profession. Wonderful. Very well said. But what about their condition? Who will advance their position? Let's say HEI infrastructure to be improved using latest technology for better learning experience. What about government, perhaps aided college that can do? What about self-financed colleges? 50% of their money, if they are spent on these amounts are to be spent on students, what will they do for improving the infrastructure? Then teacher-student ratio from 1.10 to 1.20 or 1:20, not more than that. Teaching duties allow time for interaction with students, research, and other university activities. If you have too many, there are colleges I have seen, you see, 1:40, 1:35, 1:50 also. So ideal system is not to have too many students under your control, more lecturers, less workload. That is what NEP 2020 says. Don't pick a fight with your management, you see, and go back and say, I'll not mentor more than 20 students. Don't do it. But we are to remind them, see, this is the recommendation of NEP 2020 of the central government, and the state government has accepted it. Will you not follow this, sir or madam? That's the polite way, in whichever way possible, you can ask them. But don't pick a fight, you see, and don't tell, you see, that Shankar sir was there who asked us to ask you. Don't drag me into this, but please make a representation. Faculty will not be transferable across institutions. Earlier, you see, faculty members appointed, recruited in government institutions are routinely transferred. Even private aided colleges, sometimes when the workload is not up to the required level, the faculty were transferred. But NEP 2020 says faculty are not transferable across institutions. 13.4. Faculty given freedom to design curricular and pedagogical approaches for innovative teaching, research, and service. Freedom will be given to teachers to innovate. Rewards, promotions, and recognition for excellence. Even if it is a small reward, even if it is a chalk piece, even if it is a 5 rupee note, even if it is a small certificate of appreciation, students will feel happy. If they are given gold medal, all the more welcome. Rewards, promotions, and recognition for excellence. Non-performers will be held to account. Many principals say, you are a union member, you are spoiling teachers. That's what they say. See, they are not working. What am I to do? The NEP 2020 point number 13.5 says, non-performers who are regularly recruited, doing their job and not doing their job as per the expectations of the colleges and the principals and the managements, they will be held to account. Transparent recruitment process will be there. Probation period will be there. You will not be regularized from day one. Assessment includes peer review and student reviews, innovations in teaching and impact of research, professional development, etc. There is one Dr. Nirmala Devi who raised a hand. Am I audible? Is there any problem with his speed of delivery?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
If she raised to find out a spontaneous answer to a question, kindly bear with me. We are short of time. Kindly post this your query. I think is Golda madam or Subhaya sir or somebody will raise it.
Chat box is enabled for posting the questions. No problem.
Yeah,
Please carry on, sir.
Please post your question. And please remember, do join the Telegram group. Even if you have any doubt related to your service conditions, teaching, NEP 2020, methodologies, assessments, or audits, I'll be ready to answer them. If it's not possible here today, on the Telegram group, I am available. Transparent recruitment process, probation period, assessment includes peer and student reviews, innovations in teaching and impact of research, professional development, etc. All these are spoken in point number 13.6 as part of motivating energized and capable faculty. Then leadership position shall not remain vacant. In several colleges, even in government colleges, for several years, people are in charges of the college. Why should you run a college with an in-charge principal? How much time does it take? Is the government serious? Whether it is state government or central government? Why not give a fixed time? In if you have a deadline for making colleges autonomous, you should also have a deadline. See, in 2 months, in 3 months, in 1 month, all leadership positions should be regularized. No in charge condition. Recently, see, a college got A++ grade. There was only one aided staff member, all the other were self-financed staff members. And even that one staff member was the in-charge principal. She was not made a regular principal, but in spite of that, you see, the NAC has given it a A++ grade. You see, if this is the situation that is existing, how does the NEP recommend that leadership position shall not be made vacant or remain vacant for longer times? Leadership position shall not remain vacant. Institutional leaders will aim to create a culture of excellence. That is what is envisaged. 14.1, equity and inclusion in higher education. Equity. Equality is different and equity is different. See, if 3 of the IQAC coordinators are given 500 rupees each, that is equality. If one like me needs 700, if I am given money as per my requirement, that is what called equity. Equity demands that the support should be on the basis of requirement. See, equity and inclusion in higher education. Equitable access to quality education, emphasis on socio-economically disadvantaged groups, SCDGs, and in areas which are underrepresented. Equity and inclusion across school and higher education, not only in higher education institutions, but also in schools. Lack of knowledge of opportunities cost. This is a very important point. See, when you go back to your college, kind of find out if you have a system in force to attend to this. 14.3. I'll ask you a question, see, tomorrow or day after or sometime later, see, when I attend this program once again. Lack of knowledge of opportunities to students, cost of pursuing higher education. How much does it cost to pursue higher education in a central university, in a state university, in a postgraduate college? Financial constraints. What are the problems that I am facing? See, whether my financial constraints would come in the way of my pursuing my PG. Admission process. How are admissions made? Language barriers. What is the requirement? See, what is the medium of instruction? Student support mechanisms. They will be addressed. It's a wonderful point. You have to, all of you have to do this in your respective college. This is the need of ours. This is the need of the hour. The students will have to be helped, and their lack of knowledge in these areas is to be addressed. And then 14.4.1, steps to be taken by governments. Half of government budgets for education of SEDGs, socio-economically disadvantaged groups, targets for higher gross enrollment ratios in SEDGs. GER to be increased in the socio-economically disadvantaged groups are the colleges which are set up in these areas. Gender balance in admissions. Earlier, you see, not many girl students used to come. But in most of the colleges where I have been delivering these webinars, they keep saying, we have more girls in our college than boys. That's what I am saying. Perhaps you have to strike a balance. Gender balance in admissions has to be brought back even to support boys. Enhanced access, special educational zones, larger numbers of SEDGs, larger numbers for SEDGs, support to HEAs that teach in local language or bilingual. In Andhra Pradesh, you see, the state government thought we are not supporting English medium education enough, and our beloved chief minister has scrapped all the existing colleges having Telugu medium sections. So we are lucky to have only English medium sections, wherein all the students will be trained in English medium only. But you see, there are several colleges in several states where students are taught in local languages to make them understand the content easily. More financial assistance and scholarship to SEDGs. Please bear with me. SEDG stands for socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Outreach on higher education opportunities and scholarships among SEDGs. Technology tools for better participation and learning outcomes. These are some of the things. And then look at 14.4.2, steps to be taken by HEAs. We have seen what the governments are supposed to do now, what you are supposed to do in your own higher educational institutions. Reforms in Indian higher education system. Look at the right side circles. Reforms, accountability and transparency, right hand side, clock 2 or 3, employability, clock 5 and 6, social responsibility 6 and 7 or 7 and 8, innovation and research entrepreneurship, maybe 9 and 10, and ultimately it should result in autonomy. These are the circles within circles, interlinking circles, which should ultimately result in institutional autonomy. Reduce opportunity costs and fee. You have to strengthen the colleges, but reduce the fee. More financial assistance to students from SEDGs. Outreach on the opportunities and scholarship. The same ideas being repeated. Admission process and curriculum more inclusive. Increase in employability potential. A student coming out of your college should be employable like Randy Posh's program. Even before they got admission to that particular course, they were appointed. Is it possible for our colleges? More courses in Indian language and bilinguality. All facilities to be to the Divyang and friendly. People who are not able to walk properly are here. See, all these people should be helped. Bridge courses for students from disadvantaged educational backgrounds. Socio-emotional and academic support and mentoring. Emotionally disturbed students should also be given a chance and support, academic support and emotional support, and mentoring should also be extended to them. Sensitization on gender identity and no discrimination and anti-harassment rules. Sexual harassment, anti-sexual harassment clubs are there, see, committees are there in colleges as per the recommendations of the University Grants Commission. They are to be monitored, the minutes of these committees have to be regularly maintained. All these things, there should not be any discrimination, and there should not be no harassment of students, whether boys or girls, in the colleges. That has to be taken care of, says the NEP 2020. And there should be an institutional development plan to include participation from SCDGs. These are some of the things that the institutions have to do. Then it goes to teacher education. Some of the participants may be teacher education institutions. I'll try to hurry up here a little bit, but I'll try to cover a few points from teacher education also. Teacher education to be grounded in Indian values. There was a mention of a reference to Takshashila, Vallabi, Vikramshila, and also Nalanda. Teacher education to be grounded in Indian values, to be revitalized, teachers to be well versed in latest advances in education and pedagogy. Up-to-date information about the technology that is to be used in the pedagogical method, teaching methods is to be introduced in teaching teacher education institutions. By 2025, only multidisciplinary and integrated teacher education programs shall be enforced. In several states, B.Ed colleges have been closed. Even in our own college, you see, after it ran for 25 years or more, after getting a NAC grade, it had to be closed down because of the policies of the government or the recommendations of the government, and extending B.Ed from 1 year to 2 years, it died. But it says, you see, by 2025, only in 3 years, multidisciplinary and integrated teacher education programs shall be enforced. TEIs are teacher education institutes to become multidisciplinary by 2025 and offer 4-year integrated course and so on and so forth. I'll lead to next point. If there are any teachers from teacher education institutions, the PPTs with both the coordinators, you can borrow it or you can even ask me. I'll send it. These are the recommendations which are summarized. I request all the coordinators and all the members representing various states and various colleges to kindly download from MHRD site the 65-page document of NEP 2020 and keep a copy in the college library, keep a copy in the IQAC, and try to read it. You see, it makes a wonderful read. It's a visionary document, no doubt. But you see, when it comes to practical implementation, we are not sure to see how it is going to change. Continued teacher education. TA is to get government funding support to become multidisciplinary. What about regular colleges? If teacher education institutions are to get government funding, why not the arts and science colleges, the cluster colleges, the hubs? Why not? Pre-service teacher preparation program through one national entrance examination by National Testing Agency. Faculty in departments of education shall have PhDs. All these are conditions laid down in other slides also. 15.9 and so on and so forth. Then you go to point number 16, reimagining vocational education. Don't think, you see, friends, I'm hurrying. It's already 5:35. We have 27 slides. I've come to slide number 16. There is an urgent need for spreading vocational education. It is not enough if you give only knowledge. The products of a college should be able to do something, you see, on their own. Look at the pictures, what they can do. Anything, you see, from photography to driving, repairing, painting, whatnot, everything. Lack of vertical mobility for vocational students addressed through National Skills Qualification Framework and NSQF. Hitherto, vocational education is perceived to be inferior to mainstream education. No more. Integration of vocational education into mainstream education in a phased manner. It will be taken up by governments, state and central, as per the recommendations of NEP 2020. Every child must learn at least one vocation and is exposed to several more. The student, even from childhood, should be able to do something, you see, independently. That is part of vocational education vision. By 2025, at least 50% of learners to have exposure to vocational education. BVOC will be continuing. Vocational courses to be available to all. Conduct of short-term certificate courses in skills, Lokvidya, or knowledge developed in India to be accessible through vocational education courses. Please write to your respective state governments. Please write to the central government. Please write to UGC. on how the Lokvidya can be followed by our students, our regular college students. This is something that you'll have to do when you go back and meet your principal on this particular point, 16.5. Vocational education to be integrated in all education institutions. Indian standard incubation centers will be set up in partnership with industries. Locally, you may be having several industries. Can you have a kind of linkage with the industry for the benefit of your students, for the cause of education, for the development of the state, and in turn for the development of the country? Indian standards to be aligned with international standard qualification of occupations. This forms basis of recognition of prior learning. It facilitates mobility across general and vocational education. So what kind of standard classification of occupations is there? You have to Google and find out, you have to research and know. Unless you know, you'll not be able to transfer it. Knowledge creation and research for growing and sustaining a large and vibrant economy. A country will be rich if the economy is good. And what we have to do? Creation of knowledge and creation of research. Sustaining it will have a sustaining impact on our economy. It will become large and it will be vibrant. If you have money, you'll be able to buy. If your buying capacity is more industries will come, more manufacturing units will become. And if there are more industries coming, is more job employment. It's a cycle, helpful cycle. So that we have to do. To become a leader, India requires expansion of research capabilities and outputs. Research and innovation investment in India is 0.69. You're looking at it correctly. 0.69, not 69, not 6.09. No, it is 0.69 of GDP. It is to be increased. USA, it has 2.8, Israel 4.3, Korea, it is 4.2. High quality interdisciplinary research in arts and humanities needed for addressing societal challenges like clean drinking water. What are the problems plaguing Indian economy, Indian system of education, India? That is what I was asking you in the beginning of the presentation. Clean drinking water, we are not able to provide. Sanitation, we are not able to provide. Quality education, healthcare, improved transportation, air quality, energy and infrastructure. There are some of the problems. And we need a kind of research, interdepartmental research in arts and humanities to address societal challenges mentioned here. And 17.5 deals with innovation, science and social sciences are extremely important. Research and innovation occur in an environment where a strong culture of research and knowledge creation exists. What is that word environment? Do you have academic environment in the college? Do you have collegiality? Ask yourself. Ask your friends, ask your colleagues. Do we have that academic environment in the college, in the university? Ask yourself. I'd been to Devagiri. I keep saying, you see, I always make a reference to Devagiri College. Sabu K. Thomas is the principal. Calicut, see, Kozhikode, that is what it is called. St. Joseph's College, the first college to get A++ standard. The first college to get 100% marks in teaching, learning, evaluation, the biggest marks getter in NEP accreditation. See, in Devagiri College, I found that the academic ambience, the academic environment, the collegiality that you are looking for in a college, I found it in Devagiri. Ask yourself, do you have that academic ambience, academic collegiality in your college or in the colleges which you have seen nearby? Greater investments in research and innovation needed. Schools to lay emphasis on scientific method and critical thinking. Analytical thinking, unless a student is able to think analytically, his education is not complete. Knowledge gaining is not enough. Communication will not suffice. You should have critical thinking, analytical thinking. Student interests and talents to be identified. So individual mentoring will come in hand here. They will be helped. NRF, there will be a National Research Foundation which will be set up for funding and support of research. It will enable research culture, successful research to be recognized and implemented, linkages with governmental agencies, industry and private and philanthropic organizations. If you have a proper research, result-oriented research, you see, there will be a lot of takers. But who will support you while you are doing research? There's a big question which is addressed to by the NEP 2020. The National Research Foundation, what it is going to do explained here. Then you have transforming the regulatory system of higher education. Regulation of higher education, which is heavy-handed for decades, will be overhauled. It needs a lot of temerity, lot of courage. For the people drafting this report, Kasturi Rangan Committee, and it needs a lot of courage for the central government to accept these recommendations and publish it and circulate it to all of us. Regulation of higher education, the government agreed, central government agreed, and the state governments will also have to agree. It is heavy-handed for decades. It will be overall restructured. Regulation of HE by distinct, independent, and empowered bodies will be taken up. A Higher Education Commission of India will be set up. It will have a General Education Council. A Higher Education Commission of India will be set up. It will have several sub-groups. The first vertical of HEAC, the National Higher Education Regulatory Council, will be set up. It will regulate in a light but tight facilitative manner. It adjudicates and collects feedback online. Unless you take feedback, feedback starts from our childhood. You see, when I was helping my mother in the kitchen, she would ask me sometimes, taste this and tell me if everything is correct. I would sometimes say, it's very spicy. Or sometimes I would say, salt is not enough. Similarly, see, in colleges and universities, you have to take the feedback, not necessarily only from students, but also from peers, from stakeholders. You have to take feedback and modify your behavior, modify your processes, methods appropriately to improve the conditions, teaching, learning conditions in the institution. So it deals with point number 18, deals with several organizations that are going to be set up as part of restructuring of higher education. HECI, Higher Education Grants Council, fourth vertical, General Education Council, and the NAC will also be, NAAC will also be rechristened as NAC, and then a National Higher Education Qualification Framework, they will be formulated, and so on and so forth. This is restructuring or transforming the regulatory system. Light but tight, that is what it says. And it also admits it has been heavy-handed for several decades. It will be made comfortable. Then professional standard setting bodies, PSSPs, like Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Veterinary Council of India, National Council for Teacher Education, you all know that abbreviation. They'll be invited to be members of General Education Council. They would specify the curriculum, but they'll not have any regulatory role. Responsibility and accountability shall be delegated to HEIs. No distinction in expectations between public and private HEIs. Sometimes when the NAC peer team goes to a college, they say, we are a government college, don't have too many expectations as far as our structures, our infrastructure is concerned. And when they go to private college, we do not have regular staff members. Don't expect to see that the college will have too many regularized lectures. So all expectations, whether you are from government or private, will be same. Such a transformation requires existing structures and institutions to reinvent themselves and undergo evolution of sorts. We will have to evolve, develop. Change is the only permanent thing in life. Change is the only permanent thing, you see, and the higher educational institutions will have to evolve. And it is very easily said. Is it so simple? And next slide, transforming the regulatory system of higher education. All these subcommittees, all these bodies will be helping the regulatory system to help the institutions. Setting up new quality, look at point 18.1.1. Setting up new quality HEIs will be made easier. HEIs performing well will be helped by central and state governments. Public-private partnership will be prompted in HE. Look at the second sentence in 18.11. HEIs performing well will be helped by central and state governments. What kind of help? Will be funding? We are not sure. public and private partnerships will be promoted in higher education. So is the government delegating its responsibility, or is it going to help really? Curbing commercialization of education. On the one hand, the very NEP 2020 says the private institution will be encouraged to give scholarships and free ships up to 50%. And it says curbing commercialization. Unless you see a private educational institution charges the student, how does from where does it get funds for imparting education? We are not like, you see, America, where the alumni come forward, give crores and crores of rupees. No. So curbing commercialization of education, very good idea. But how are you going to increase the gross enrollment ratio up to 50% and do all these things, give 50% of free ships and scholarships? This is something that we'll have to look at very critically, saying, think for yourself whether it is practical or impractical. Mechanism to combat and stop commercialization of HE will be a priority of regulation. Light but tight, they said. But here there is a veiled threat. A priority of regularization, a priority of regulatory system is to combat and stop commercialization. We are not asking for donations, but at least the college should be permitted to collect enough fee to run the show. Look at 18.3. All HEIs, public and private, will be treated on par. For funding also, this is a question that you have to ask yourself. Encouragement for private philanthropic efforts. Every time the NEP 2020 says private players to help education, to support the state, to support students. And once again, the same thing is there. Elimination of commercialization and minimal guidelines to establish private HEIs. This is something we will have to welcome. And what does it result in? Good governance, financial stability and security, education outcomes. The student learning outcomes, this is an area where you will have to put your thrust. You have to ask yourself, what are the learning outcomes of the students I am teaching? What is it that a student is able to get to see once he completes a program in our college, whether it is UG or PG? And transparency of disclosures, both for public and private and public HEIs. This is something welcome. Philanthropic private HEIs will be encouraged. At least 20% of their students are to attend through free ships and additional 30% through scholarships. That's what I was making a reference to. Effective governance and leadership for higher educational institutions, perhaps the last point in higher education. Effective governance and leadership, culture of excellence, innovation, merit-based appointments of institutional leaders. Is it easily said than done? Merit-based appointments, I wish that it would become a reality, and only meritorious students will be able to get into jobs. Graded accreditation and autonomy in 15 years. By 2035, every college will be autonomous. All HEIs to become independent self-governing institutions. A board of governors, BOGs, governs without external interference. All HEIs will be incentivized. Please bear it in mind. All HEIs will be incentivized, supported and mentored to become autonomous with an empowered BOG by 2035. Let us see whether it is practical. BOG responsible for outcomes of HEI to stakeholders and meet guidelines of National Higher Education Regulatory Authority. So, Board of Governors has the responsibility. Leadership positions to persons with high academic qualifications, administrative and leadership capabilities. Their selection will be by BOGs through a rigorous, impartial, merit-based, competency-based process. Can we believe this? Is it possible? But if it is possible, it's a wonderful recommendation by Kasturirangan Committee and also acceptance by the central government. HEI is to be committed to excellence. Wonderful. Engagement with local communities needed. Highest standards of financial probity. Anytime they can come and check your records for financial integrity and accountability. The BOG will have an institutional development plan. Unless you have an institutional development plan, you will not be able to do anything. So, look at the next point. Professional education. Professional education, point number one, it will be an integral part of higher education system, HEI. So agriculture education, legal education, healthcare education, medical education, technical education, all these will be brought together into the one umbrella of higher education institutions. They'll be integrated to the HEIs. Foundational literacy, adult education and lifelong learning, point number 21. Foundational literacy, obtaining education, pursuing a livelihood to be basic rights of every citizen. I'm asking my friends here, the 600 plus friends coming here, how many of your colleges are helping the adult illiterate people in your college vicinity? How many communities have been co-opted? Have your NCC or NSS unit done something in this area? Have you adopted an area where the uneducated adults are given literacy? These are some of the things, and that will count for your NAC also. So foundation literacy is to be given importance. Adult education is to be done on a voluntary basis. And the point 21 deals with all these things, starting from participation of NCERT to NGOs, opportunities for adult education to be widely publicized. We'll go to point number 22, promotion of Indian languages, art and culture. The local arts, the local culture will have to be encouraged. Preservation and promotion of India's cultural wealth, a high priority for nation's identity and its economy. So, what do you call your state's shop or state's produce which are showcased in any shop in New Delhi or elsewhere? The Tamil Nadu government has a shop in New Delhi, in Karnatak. It's called Pumpuhar, where you see crores and crores of rupees of artifacts taken from Tamil Nadu are displayed. Similarly, I have seen several kinds of shops from Orissa, from Thiruvananthapuram, from Kerala, from Karnataka, and from Andhra and other states also, from Tripura also, Nagaland also. So, do we know about these things? Have you ever spoken about these things? Have you ever taken our students to such kind of cultural centers, you see, in our own area? Preservation and promotion of India's cultural wealth is a high priority for nation's identity and its economy. Promotion of Indian arts and culture is important both to individual and societal well-being. So this is something that we'll have to take, that we'll have to adopt. Once you go back, you have to do some work in this area and try to showcase it, highlight it, take a geotagged photos and preserve them, for your NAC presentation. Or 220, look at point number 22.5. 22.4 is also important. Language is inextricably linked to art and culture. Different languages see the world differently. The Sangam literature of Tamil Nadu portrayed, the Tamil view of life in Tamil language. Languages have a way of influencing people. To preserve and promote culture, one must preserve and promote cultural languages and promote a culture's languages. But lamentably, over 220 Indian languages were lost in the last 50 years after independence. No concerted action taken to preserve these rich languages or expressions of culture. This point is continued in the coming 4 slides. And then the next part comes here, technology use and integration. India is a global leader in information and communication technology. Our people are there, in every part of the globe, in America, in Australia, in UK, helping, their countries progress in science. India is a global leader in information and communication technology. Digital India campaign is helping to transform it into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. The relationship between technology and education at all levels is bidirectional. You give and you take. You give and you take. You make students part of digital education. You teach them technology, and in turn, it will also help not only the college but also the society and the nation in turn. Technology impacts education in multiple ways. It requires research on technological and educational fronts. Use and integration of technology will be supported and adopted. An autonomous body, the National Education Technology Forum, or NETF, will be created to provide a platform for exchange of ideas or on use of technology. You see, this is something novel, something new. The central government wishes to start a new technology forum, which is going to help the colleges and also the students. And it has several functions. It will provide evidence-based advice to governmental agencies and so on and so forth. Look at 23.6. An educational software will be developed and made available for students and teachers. Teaching, learning, e-content. Teaching, learning, e-content will be developed in all regional languages, and it will be uploaded on Diksha and such other platforms, and will include ratings, reviews by users. While looking at this particular point, I was also thinking about whether the colleges are able to access freely anti-plagiarism software. The central government has come up with a proposal, and it has made available the anti-plagiarism check software, which has been made available to universities, and we'll have to go to the university, request the universities, perhaps beg the universities to kindly provide this free plagiarism check software to colleges also. When the government is thinking on the lines of providing educational software, why not this simple one? Attention need to be paid emerging disruptive technologies that will necessarily. Disruptive technologies are disrupting the existing structure of approaches of teaching and learning, not completely, totally spoiling. Disruptive technologies are emerging. They will necessarily transform the education system through the internet. Computers have largely surpassed humans in leveraging factual and procedural knowledge. Our education excessively burdens students with such knowledge at the expense of developing their higher order competencies. We are using computers too much, and perhaps it is suppressing, the thinking process of the students, that we have to be very conscious of. The current slide also 23.8 and 23.9 continue to speak about the disruptive technology, artificial intelligence, and so forth, so on and so forth. But it has to be, technology use should be integrated into the teaching. HES will conduct research on disruptive technologies and creating instructional materials and courses in cutting-edge domains. Universities will offer PhDs and master programs in core areas such as machine learning, multidisciplinary areas. And 23.12, education will assist in raising people's awareness of the potential of disruptive technologies, their effects and results are related issues. They do have some positive impact on education. They also have negative impact, that has to be brought to the minds of the students and the teachers. It is the responsibility of the state and central governments, and the NEP 2020 clearly outlines saying that education will have to assist the assist in raising people's awareness of these areas. It is necessary to highlight ethical issues surrounding development and deployment of artificial intelligence-based technologies. During the last 2 years, during COVID, students have been given laptops, sometimes phones, iPhones or Androids, whatever. They were asked to listen to the lectures of the teachers. But there is also a threat. They can also access forbidden websites. How are they going to be controlled? These are some of the issues that also come. With the disruptive technologies, positive impact will be there and negative impact will also be there. It is 6:01. I have 3 more slides. 3 more points. Can I continue, Professor Ramsubhay, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. Leveraging technology has advantages, but its potential risks and dangers are to be acknowledged. Pilot studies are needed to assess before online or digital education is introduced, and how to mitigate the downsides. The digital divide, between the urban and rural, it has to be eliminated. Use of technology for online and digital education should address concerns of equity. Equity is a watchword. I have been requesting you to download the NEP 2020 document running to 65 pages PDF document. You can take a couple of print copies and circulate them, and also preserve a soft copy in your system, and try to search these words. Equity, how many times it is used? Holistic, how many times it is used? All these things you can look at well-rounded individuals. These are some of the things perhaps you can do individually. Teachers need training and development to be effective online educators. Online education. Most of the teachers have been taught during the last 2 years on how to use online education, thanks to COVID. See, COVID had a bad impact, you see, on societies and the fabric and living conditions, all these things. But COVID also made teachers literate, digital literate, and the students have also learned a lot during COVID time on how to use computers or iPhones or Androids. Online education is to be blended with the experiential and activity-based learning. Otherwise, it will become a screen-based education with limited focus. If you have, see, in several areas, when I speak to IQAC coordinators or organizers like Ram Subbaiah sir and Lily Golda madam, see, what they say, people join, sir, they leave their laptop, they leave their phone, they'll not be listening to it. It's up to them. It's a free country. And this is a free webinar also. We are not charging. So they have their priorities. They may listen, they may not listen. Online and digital education, ensuring equitable use of technology. These are sub points for the initiatives to be introduced, pilot studies and to blended models of learning. Then last part, point numbers 25 to 27. There are so many recommendations, well and good. But how are you going to make this happen? Strengthening the Central Advisory Board of Education. I request the members, you see, I was just very curious. You have to make the Central Advisory Board of Education when you go home, or if it is possible, even when attending this webinar, kindly try to Google and find out the address of the CABE. You can perhaps find its website. Try to physically find the address of the CABE. Strengthening the Central Advisory Board of Education, it says. Okay. I'm speaking this in a lighter way. I'm not trying to speak in any derogatory manner about the recommendations. The CABE will be responsible for developing, articulating, evaluating, and revising the vision of education on a continuous basis. Even the college vision has to be modified from time to time. The colleges have the right to modify their vision and mission statements. My college was started 72 years back in 1950. At the time, UGC was not even in existence. UGC came into existence sometime during 1956 or something. So my college is senior to even the UGC. So we have to revise our mission. We have to revise our vision statements. The Ministry of Human Resource Development to be redesignated as the Ministry of Education. Try to see Google and go to Ministry of Education and see what are the documents available, what is the information you see that is made available on the Ministry of Education website. Financing affordable and quality education for all. A very bland statement, you see. Everybody says, we'll provide everything that is needed by citizens, like that. Public expenditure on education has been around 4.43% of GDP, far smaller than most developed and developing countries. I like this. I like the recommendations made by NEP 2020 committee. I also praise the government for accepting its inability for doing. They have very candidly come forward and agreed that they are not able to spend more than 4.43% of GDP on higher education. They wish to raise it to 6%. There will be an increase in public investment in education by all central and state governments. And then 26 continued. Financial support will be provided to ensure universal access, etc., as shown below. The following key long-term thrust areas are identified. Universal provisioning of quality early child care education. Unless you have a strong foundation, if you want to build a 4-floor structure, see that the foundation is good. If you want to get a good degree, you have to train your students even from LKG, UKG to have literacy, which is helpful for them to think, speak, know, and articulate in a proper manner. Early childhood care education is also very important. Ensuring foundational literacy and numeracy, mathematical skills, providing adequate and appropriating resourcing of school complexes and clusters. They are not anybody's property. The clusters, complexes of schools shall be used for other things also, like adult education or vocational education, and so on and so forth. Providing food and nutrition. See, even in Tamil Nadu, I came to know that school students are provided free midday meals. Investing in teacher education and continuing professional development of teachers. Unless you train teachers continuously, like these training exercises, you will not be able to get the nation to a level of standard education as you desire. Train your teachers so that they train their students. Revamping colleges and universities to foster excellence and cultivating research and extensive use of technology in online education. These are some of the points. 26. Even the low level of funding on education in India is frequently not spent in a timely manner at the district or institutional level. I like this. I've been saying that several times. Even in the course of this lecture, I have been telling. The recommendations are very, 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 very clear, candid, realistic. And the government has not hidden anything. You see, it admits. Sometimes, you see, when I was the principal for 5 years of our college, sometimes they would release funds in March, 15th of March, and they would say, spend the amount before the end of the month, before 31st March. You have to call for quotations, you have to publish, you have to analyze these quotations, and you'll have to spend the money, 1 crore or 2 crores in the last 15 days of the financial year. How is it possible? The government admits, to see, that this is the process that is being continued. Heavy-handed administration, that's what they said. The provisions of GFR, PFMS, and just-in-time release, the funding will be followed for efficient use of funds. So the policy also, next 26.c, it also calls for rejuvenation, active promotion, and support for private philanthropic activity in the education sector. The government knows pretty well that it alone will not be able to educate the country of 130 crores of people. Unless the private partnerships, private philanthropists are included, it will not be able to educate them. So they'll be roped in, they'll be brought in, and private philanthropic funds will be solicited. The light but tight regulatory approach mandates full public self-disclosure for finances, procedures, course and program. 1 minute, bear with me. Program offerings. The word "and" is not visible. You see, it is being covered by my name. Educational outcomes of all institutions, public and private. The light but right regulatory approach, it mandates full public self-disclosure. RTI. How many colleges have an RTI tab on their website? RTI website. Have you taken part? Are you included in the RTI brochure or the booklet of the college? How is the RTI effective in your college, in the university, in your state? These are some of the things that you have to. It says full public self-disclosure. How it is going to be practical. Then almost last point, implementation. Implementation of the policy will be led by various bodies like MHRT, CABE, Union and State Governments, Education-related ministries, State Departments of Education, boards with timelines and the plan for review. Education falls under the concurrent list, wherein the state government and the central government will have to work together. So implementation principles, the implementation of the spirit and intent of the policy, implement the initiatives in a phased manner, in a systematic manner, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, prioritization in ensuring optimal sequence of policy points, not of higher education first, but sequencing of policy points from school education to higher education. Comprehensiveness, complete, totality in implementation. Education is a concurrent subject, as making reference to that, needs careful planning, joint monitoring, collaborative implementation between center and states, timely infusion of requisite resources, human resources, infrastructural resources, and financial resources. All these will have to be given in time-bound manner. The last slide, last but one slide. Finally, careful analysis and review of the linkage between multiple parallel implementation agencies or steps will be necessary. Subject-wise implementation committees of experts in cooperation and consultation with other Relevant ministries will be set up at both the central and state level to develop detailed implementation plans. You have to have a plan. You have an academic plan. You have a teaching plan. You have even a calendar, you see, to know how many academic days you have. So for implementing a national education policy which falls under the concurrent list, both the states and central will have to sit together and the agencies will have to look into them, and everything has to be reviewed and shared with the Central Advisory Board of Education. Do you remember what I asked you, friends? Try to Google and find out the address, physical address of the CAB. In the decade of 2030 and 2040, next decade, you see, we are in 2020, 2030. In the next decade, 2030, 40, the entire policy, the NEP 2020, will be in operational mode. It will be in operational mode, following which another comprehensive will be undertaken. So after 10 years or after 8 years, there will be another review. This is the summary of my PPT and my thanks. These are some of the people which who have gone through the elaborate PowerPoint presentation I have prepared for exclusively for this FDP. Earlier also, I presented NEP 2020 in various webinars, but this is a revised and special presentation meant for FDP being organized by these two colleges in association with the IQAC Cluster of India. I thank Dr. P.J.S. Kumar, Principal of Akinin Nageswarrao College, Gudivada, Dr. Yugandhara Thupare of Government College of Arts and Science, Aurangabad, Talapaneni Bala Narendra Prasad of JKC College, Guntur, Mrs. Farzana Shavre of A. Kalsekar Degree College, Kausa, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Dr. R. Samundeswari of A.P.C. Mahalaxmi College for Women, Thoothukudi. She has been helping me for the last 2 years in reviewing my PPTs. Dr. Mrs. Sasmita Panigrahi of the Department of Computer Science, DAV Autonomous College, Tilagar, Orissa. Dr. Vibhati V. Kulkarni of Nanded Education Society Science College, Maharashtra, and Mrs. Bhuma V. Halpeta from Tamil Nadu, settled in Dombivli in the SIA College of Higher Education, Dombivli, Maharashtra. These are the people who reviewed my PPT and said, "Go ahead, sir." And I thank them. And I thank, you see, the IQAC cluster. And I also thank the organizers, both the colleges. And I'm sorry, see, I have taken a little more time than I was planning to do. It is 6:15. But please note that I was given the mic, you see, a little late. I could not help it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm ready to answer questions. See, the participants have come down from 600 plus to 458. If there are any questions, you see, I'm prepared to answer. If you are not able to ask any questions here, don't worry. Please post them on my Telegram IQAC Cluster app, and I'm prepared to answer anytime, every time. This is my assurance. And I think Ramasubaya sir and Lily Golda madam and Vimala will also be prepared to watch about this fact on my behalf. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, my dear friends, you see, for making my day and patiently listening beyond the given time to my lecture on NEP 22. I had to rush, but you know, we are on a deadline. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was an excellent presentation. Very comprehensive presentation. You have covered all the areas of the 65-page report. It was very crystal clear. It was a crystal clear presentation, sir. Thanks a lot. And you have given a very clear idea about that all elusive but inevitable NEP. It was a gray area for most of us, and it always is. We have listened, we have read it many times, but in spite of all that, there are certain areas which we are not able to follow, and all that became very clear through your presentation, sir. I think you have done justice to the time. I'm sorry that we were a bit late handing over the session to you, but even otherwise, sir, there are some questions. The positive comments have been pouring in right from the beginning, and there are some questions, but I think you have answered all the questions here. But anyway, let me just ask you a couple of questions which have been repeated. As one participant has asked, considering the country's economic situation, is there really a need for the implementation of NEP?
You have to. You see,
And who is going to fund all these things? And
even if there is no food, even if there is no food at home, you have to dress yourself to go out. Even if you do not have any valuables at home, you have to lock your door. You have to have a vision. You have a vision for your college. You have a vision for your department. You have a vision for the country. You have a vision for the state. We have to do it. Paucity of funds can be overcome. See, I keep telling my management, I keep telling my managing committee members, see, if we have any idea from the side of the teaching staff, we'll go ahead. Money will automatically come. See, don't bother about money. If you have a vision, it will be materialized. Unless you have a vision, you will not be able to lead the country. Don't worry, my friends. If you, I think, you see, I'm prepared to hear, propose this. If from out of these 1,000 participants who have registered, or 600 participants that have gathered here today, if Lily Golda madam and Ramasubaya sir are able to pick up one participant having, you see, a good understanding of the concepts on all these 7 days and gives a good feedback in writing, I am prepared to even send a gold medal to one of you to be awarded to that particular participant, see, on pan-India basis. One gold medal. And madam knows, you see, what else comes with the gold medal. So I'm prepared. See, try to know something. But it's not enough if you know something, you see, from an FDP, you see, try to share it with your colleagues when you go back home. Tell them, you see, this is what I learned. And we have to do it. Have a vision. Money is never a matter. If you have a vision, I think you can go ahead. Money can be found if you have a plan.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. One more question, sir. In a class of mixed abilities, where some students require tutoring, some others need teaching, and yet others seek guidance, how can a teacher accommodate himself or herself to address the learner's needs?
Wonderful question. Wonderful question. The UGC recommendation is 1:10 or 1:20. But we have 1:50, 1:40. So the teacher will have to be very patient. Have you heard about Ranjit Singh Dishale? All those who know that, all those who have heard about Ranjit Singh Dishale, go back to your home and ask your husband or your wife to give you 100 rupees. Just for knowing the name of Ranjit Singh Dishale from Maharashtra. He taught in a border school, a school which is on border with Karnataka, where most of the students were Kannadigas. They could not understand the Marathi textbooks that have been prescribed. He translated them into Kannada language and made them available. You see, even during the COVID times, he has been given an award and almost 13 crore rupees, I think 7 crore rupees World Education Forum's award. So if you know that, if you have heard about Ranjit Singh Dishale, you know how a teacher can shape himself or herself. There are different types of students, definitely in a classroom: slow learners, advanced learners, average learners. It is the task of the teacher to know how to balance his teaching methods. I think, you see, that particular lecturer can even call me, but he or she should be prepared to listen to me for 10 or 15 minutes or half an hour, you see, to make it more clear. It is possible. Only thing is you have to be determined. That's what I say, Golda madam.
So just one more question, sir. So as educators, how do we bridge the imbalance of conducting online and offline classes, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic period? How are we going to cope up with that learning loss that was created?
You are speaking only about learning loss, financial loss that the country has faced. Learning loss has come by. Some affluent colleges, affluent schools, affluent families, affluent universities could do better. But I think you have to begin at the beginning. You see, sometimes if the students are even not able to read English properly, they are not able to even write in a proper manner. I think you'll have to put in a little more effort. Can you spend 1 more hour every day in the college to help repair that damage? That is a question that you have to ask. If it is your own student, if it is your own daughter or your own son, what would you do? You would request the teachers of your daughter to take a little more time to train them because of the loss that has been faced. Similarly, I think you see, teachers will have to invest their time and money in helping the cause of education, because we are getting money, nourishment because of the job that we got. That is what we have to do. See, I'm a union leader, I know, but I also say that teachers have their responsibilities and they have to rise to the occasion. And most of you, how much time you have been spending, you see, during the last 4 days or 5 days or 1 week, you are not sleeping. You are not allowing others like me sleep or go to a temple. You are spending a lot of time, you see, on this or that, whatnot. Teachers will have to spend a little more time in repairing the damage.
Thank you very much, sir, for answering the queries as well. Dear participants, I hope you.
My offer is still open. My offer is still open. A gold medal for one who writes 1 page, perhaps just 1 A4 page typed, perhaps script, not in Tamil, perhaps in English, to be adjudicated by Lily Golda Madam and Ramasubaya sir. 1 gold medal for one of the best participants, telling what he or she learned from the FDP and on the need for an FDP like this. 1 gold medal. But don't think, you see, it's a pure gold medal. You see, 20 grams pure silver with electroplating of gold. Do not try to take me to a court of law saying you said gold medal on that particular day at 6:24 on 18th April. No. 20-gram silver medal with gold plating can be given on the recommendations of Lily Golda Madam or Ram Subaya sir, if there is interest from these participants. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for the offer. And I think the participants will definitely make the best use of it. Dear participants, thank you very much for staying with us so long. And the following 6 days, definitely you're going to have a more number of fruitful sessions. So stay tuned with us. Once again, Sankar sir, thank you very much.
Can you thank Gangude sir who is present there? Can you thank Gangude sir who is also present there?
Gangude sir, would you like to speak a few words?
Just a minute.
I think he'll have to unmute himself.
Just a minute.
Where is he? Can you identify him? Can you stop
Gangude
him
sir, his
Professor
name is
Bharat
Just
Gangude.
please ask him to open his video so that we can identify him.
Gangude sir, Gangude sir.
The spelling, sir.
Sir, please open your video.
Spelling, sir.
KAMTUDU.
Yes, sir. Satyajit.
Yeah, he's here. He's here. Yes, yes.
Sir, can you
Gangude
make him
sir,
co-host,
I'd be
sir?
happy to listen to you. One sentence.
Yes. Can you give him, sir, co-host?
Wonderful. He is the founder of the Telegram group. Yeah, unmute him. Kindly unmute him. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Very fine and marathon session it is. Really, at this age, it is not expected, sir. At your age, it is not expected to speak almost 2 hours.
I'm only 25. I'm only 25 with 40 years experience. I'm only 25 with 40 years experience.
That's very nice. Yes, I have gone through the entire session right from the beginning, and the enthusiasm shown by all the participants was also very nice. So the huge number is there right from the beginning. So it was a great opportunity for all participants, including myself, to go through all this nooks and corners of this particular NEP 2020. So very nice and very encouraging as well as interesting session for all of us. I hope all next session of this cluster people will be exactly on the same line.
But for the IQAC cluster, this could not have perhaps materialized. I have to candidly admit.
Yes, yes, yes. Very nice, very nice. So thank you all the organizers once again for here allowing me to give this particular response. Thank you
Thanks
all.
for
Over to
joining
you.
us, sir. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining us.
So,
So shall we wind up,
yes,
Ramasubramanian sir?
yes, madam. Once again, it's a request to all the participants to be here at 4 o'clock, 3:45 tomorrow. And we'll have a second day session at exactly at 4 o'clock tomorrow evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Let us meet tomorrow evening. Thank you so much.
Thank
Sir,
you.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. I'll come back to you.
Thank you, Ram Subbai garu. Thank
Yes, sir. I'll come back to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, the session will be available for another 5 minutes for the feedback form if anybody has missed it out. The feedback form is in the chat box. Feedback and attendance link.
So in case the participants have not filled up the feedback and in case you have not given your attendance, please do it. Otherwise, you cannot expect a certificate from the institutions. Please do it. Otherwise, the certificate will not be generated. The request from us, please do fill up the attendance and feedback form. Thank you so much. Shall we wind up, admin?
Sir, I request the dignitaries can leave the meeting, sir. We'll stay for another like
Okay.
Two to 3 minutes. We'll stay.
All the best. All the
Participants
best.
to just
All the best. All the best. Thank you.
thank you all. Okay, sir.